All right, we here. Good morning, Sunday morning. This is the we're doing a live stream. It's me, White Cenat is what I call myself now. Uh, let's see. No one's in here yet. Huh. Damn. So I gotta go solo until people come in here. I don't like that. The solo podcast is different because that's what I'm trying to do is be solo. Oh, there we go. There we go. We got who we got in here? We got some fellas joining us. This one's for the ladies, of which there are none. I think I looked at the analytics for the show, and literally zero female viewership. It's all dudes, which is a nice. I mean, it's a sizable market. As dudes, I'll probably. Do I partake in occult literature? I've tried. I tried reading the Satanic Bible. That sucked. I tried listening to Damien Eccles' book, and I was like, well, this is just. I mean, this is just The Secret. Um, what else? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Occult stuff sounds cool, like demons and shit, until you actually read it, and then you do kind of realize, like, oh, this is just like manifesting stuff. This is women shit. This is like what they do with all the crystals and incense, but it's like been it's packaged in a way for dudes. It's the same philosophically. It's the same as like any like fat bitch who's all into like astrology and witch stores, crystals, incense, fuck angel numbers. It's all bit shit, but then they repackage it so it's like, well, what if it was fucking cool? What if it looked like a metal, like the cover of a metal album or something? And it's like, I mean, if it works, it works. I guess that's the thing is like with any of that stuff is it is like mind over matter. So like if you believe in it, like if you truly believe in what you're practicing with the, I don't know, chaos magic or sigil magic, occult stuff, then I guess like I don't know if the actual manifesting the energies of the universe is a real thing, but maybe it's like the discipline that you utilize in those practices uh is something you I like carry with you as you do things, and it helps maybe. You know what I mean? Like doing yoga, you keep doing it, you get better at it, and then you do sort of like uh get to a place of like discipline and meditation, and it does actually like help you. So maybe that's how the occult works. I don't know. Because I did I there was a little while there where I was like going to like a real hippy dippy um like yoga studio, and it was one of these. It was like a Russell Brand type yoga place where it was like more focused on like the spiritual aspect of it, like the meditation and that kind of stuff, than like actually exercising. So like the idea was it was supposed to be like an hour and a half, and it was like a meditative yoga, and it was like by the end of it there was like this feeling like almost like I had taken like a little bit of mushrooms at the end of it. Um, Especially because like the last 20 minutes was we would all have to lay on the floor while she played a gong. Like she had a big gong that she would like massage with a mallet, so it would be like, and then she would just do that for like 20 minutes, and then you drift away, and then come back, and then they would try to sell you shawls in the gift shop, and like different kinds of shawls and afghans and all natural soaps. Um, yeah, but yeah, occultism is, yeah, it's more like it's fun. The idea of it's fun, the dukes of hell, and the actual, like, the demons stuff. But the actual practice of it is like, all right, close your eyes, think of the sun, visualize the sun, breathe in, breathe out. It's like, this is bitch shit. All right, I'm trying to learn spells. Okay, I'm trying to learn like actual summoning spells, and get the fucking death note. I want one of them things to give me a death note so I can so I can kill my enemies. Uh Somebody was telling me yesterday that I need to watch One Piece, and that's never going to happen. I don't have I've got nothing but time on my hands, but I don't have the wherewithal to sit through a show, like a show that has like 1,000 episodes. You know, it's when it comes to anime. If it's longer than 2 seasons, I'm not watching it. Okay, is get in, get out. I'm not trying to fucking watch these big sagas and arcs, 30 episodes a season. This kind of bullshit. Just give me fucking Cowboy Bebop. Give me Evangelion. We get a couple seasons and we're done. Uh, Other than that, it's like many black youths in this country. I was indoctrinated by Dragon Ball at a young age, so I will continue to follow that. But that's the only that's the only long one that I'm watching. And then aside from that, I also just don't really watch that much anime. Like something gets lost in translation with that shit. Like it's the like the way that the like portrayals of like the characters and the way they act and what they're doing is like, there's always been this thing where it's like everything they do is so over the top. It's like so exaggerated that it's like it's hard for me to connect with it, because I'm like, I mean, I know it's a cartoon, but it's also like, why is everybody sigh loud? Like they'll stand there and they're like, oh, I'm like, why are you taking a breath loud even? Um and yeah, and it's also just like, I don't know. Adult cartoons should just be like comedies. Like it should just be like Family Guy. And then I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, there's some cool anime out there. It's just, I think, like um I don't like the thing where it's like now not only acceptable, but it's kind of like you're rewarded for being like a mega fan of anime and comic books and stuff like that. Like it's so in the mainstream and the zeitgeist. That's like, there's entire like YouTube channels and podcast. Like people are making a living just commenting on anime, and they have like walls of like action figures, and they got like, fucking hoodies with Naruto on, like a $200 hoodie with Naruto on it. Um, and that's unacceptable to me. As a man, the way a man should dress is in the spring and summer, either a white or black t-shirt with athletic shorts and New Balances, and then in the fall and winter, you should wear a hoodie, like a sweatshirt with no logos, and sweatpants and New Balances. That's how a man should dress, like John Fetterman, I guess. I guess every man should dress like, just like John Fetterman, just like the most basic, no logos, no brands. That was always how my uncle dressed. His wardrobe was like literally like 30 of the same black t-shirt, and then like 30 this was before it was like a brand, but like before it had this comeback with like 30 like champion brand but like basketball shorts, because they were like, it was like that was like the cheapest brand at Walmart at the time. And now it's like kind of had this champions had this like Pabst Blue Ribbon thing happen to it, where like people started like getting into it for some reason, and now it's kind of like a not a luxury brand, but it's like more expensive now. Which is what happened with Pabst back in the day. Like Pabst for the longest time was like this punchline that was like the shittiest beer of all time, and then all the like, at that time it was like the twirly mustache guys, what was then known as hipsters, started drinking it a lot, and then yeah, and then it became like a fucking like $12 for a 6 pack beer, which was crazy. And it was never, I mean, it was never like shitty. There's worse stuff out there. Like my dad would always like if he saw me drinking it, I think because of the fact that it was a punchline and like popular media, he was like, the fuck are you doing drinking that swill? But it's like, well, you're drinking Bud Ice. Like you're fucking like getting 40s of fucking Colt 45 or whatever. Like my dad would go to the fucking liquor store and just get like whatever was cheap and big Mickey's. But it never occurred to him that that was like socially considered lower in quality and much worse than Pabst Blue Ribbon. But he's the kind of guy who gives in to what the media tells him to think. Like he would always get mad if he saw me watching wrestling. He was like, "This shit's fake," and it's like, well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, Cheers is fake. I mean, that's also a scripted show. Like, I don't understand like why if you take like I don't understand why if you take an action show and all of a sudden put it in a ring surrounded by thousands of people, that now it's unacceptable. This needs to like what these guys are doing should be on a like a studio lot surrounded by a crew of people. Like you know what I mean. It's a live sporting event that's scripted, and for some reason like the idea of watching that for a lot of people at that time. Now wrestling's like, I'm surprised how many fucking people like it now, because it was like when I was a kid, you had to be like severely like debilitatingly autistic to like wrestling. That's who it was for. Was like people who could like almost like nonverbal, like the guys who would shake in their chair and slap themselves autistic were the ones wearing like triple X John Cena shirts. And now it's like there's like 100 different podcasts just talking about what happened in wrestling this week. But I mean, at that time, it was kind of like socially unacceptable to like it, and it like bugged my dad that if I ever watched it, because it was like quote unquote fake. um and it's like, well, I mean, I never understood why that upset people, though, like the idea that it was like a scripted event, because like, well, all TV is scripted. Like I don't know why this is like a controversy. um I don't know. I guess because like for the longest time they were presenting it as though it was like an actual sporting event. Like they were trying to like maintain this like the idea that it was actually not scripted or whatever. And then I think eventually it might have been because of sports gambling that they had to come out and say like, oh, by the way, this is not like this is all predetermined. Um, and now all these fucking like weird like tech gambling apps will still do like I guess like they still take bets on it, but it's for like weird stuff, like how much blood drips onto the ring during a match, or it's like weird stuff like that. Um Yeah, I don't know. I've never bet on sports. I don't understand. I don't really understand gambling, and I don't understand. Like, it's fucking weird how I don't know if anyone here gambles, but it's like it's weird how popular that is now. Like how that's like an acceptable thing to do now is download like the Jake Paul sports betting app and bet on sports. Just like turning an entire generations of people into the like the Robert Patrick character from The Sopranos. Just like all these kids with phones now can just like download a fucking app and make bets on their favorite game on their favorite teams or whatever. That's crazy to me. Um, but hey, it's the free market, baby. Everybody knows I'm a staunch libertarian. And I think we need more deregulation. We got to deregulate the fucking market. Let the businesses, let the corporation, the market, the market will find equilibrium on its own. You know what I mean? If you deregulate the market, then the corporations, all these businesses they will do the right thing due to like healthy competition and what the market dictates. You could trust you could trust businesses and corporations, I guess. I don't know. I never understand like what the libertarian argument is. It's like so complete like is the idea like completely remove the government from the equation and just let the businesses do whatever they want, I guess because now it's like Thunderdome, uh the right people will come out on top, and it'll be just and fair for everybody. Like I don't even understand like what the philosophy is behind that, because like if you have like complete deregulation and let these people like operate unfettered, it just seems to me like they're just gonna find every way possible to like not pay anyone what they deserve. And like I don't know. I never understand. Like, have you like even if you deal with like a small business, those people are fucking dickheads. Like all these fucking people when they talk about like raising the minimum wage, and then like some guy who owns like a little pizzeria is like, but I can't afford to pay my staff a 15 an hour. And it's like, well, then you can't afford to run a pizzeria, dude. Like you clearly cannot afford to run this business. Your pizzas suck shit. Fucking shutter the doors. Nobody said you get to be a business owner. Um that was the craziest thing to experience when they passed Obamacare. Was like every fucking like even like big business. Like I was working at Home Depot at the time, which is like a pretty good size business. And when they passed Obamacare, where it was like if you're working like I think it was like if you're working at least 30 hours a week, then the company had to provide their health care for you. If you were working 30 hours a week consecutively for like however many weeks. And so they passed Obamacare, and what the company did immediately was cut everyone's hours to 29 a week and just hire more people to cover that. So now all of a sudden the entire workforce at the Home Depot is all part time, and so nobody can pay their bills, and they're not getting health care. And that's $1 billion corporation. So if $1 billion corporation is going to do that, if they're going to do that in the interest of their own capital, then it stands to reason that a fucking small business would probably like be worse about that kind of stuff. And so that's why I never understand like what the libertarian argument is, because if you completely remove all government regulation, if the businesses are already like exploiting loopholes to find a way to fuck over their workforce, and if that's how they're already operating, if you remove all of the regulation that necessitates them to look for those loopholes, then they're just going to wholesale fuck you. And so that's why I don't understand that like whatever their political philosophy is. It's like there's got to be a healthy medium between like complete like the dissolving of the government and like fascist dictatorships. There's got to be like someplace in the middle where it's like people are free, but also there's like social services and like a healthy government presence. Like I it just seems like a very like selfish. It's like it just seems like like an economic and political philosophy born from like pretty like a self-absorbed person. But I'm not an economist. I haven't read any of these. I don't. I've heard the names. Who are they? Milton Friedman and the other guy, but I don't know how it works. What'd you say? Libertarianism tends to settle with small community government. I guess I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, the country's like way too big for there to be this like overarching like federal umbrella that's expected to like take care of everybody. Like there should be more like small government presence that takes care of their like communities. That then like expands outward and outward until you get to the president who's going to send $100 billion to Israel. Yeah, I guess this is what I'm doing now is trying to get into the. I was just doing a show with my buddy Hyro yesterday. Look for that wherever you get podcasts. The name of his show is Cringe City with Hyro Flores. He's an old friend of mine from Dallas. But I was talking to him about this that the the soil right now is fertile for a new crop of sort of like not particularly well read or eloquent political reactionaries, like just tedious, pedantic guys who talk about politics because they failed at what they were trying to do in life. We're there again. It's 2016 part two. It's like there's all this like big scary big scary like technological innovation happening in industry and all that. So that's part of it. There's an election coming up. That's another one. There's a lot of civil unrest in the country. The economy's upside down. The housing market is crashing again. And then the best, obviously the best indicator is war in the Middle East. I mean, that's a perfect jumping off point for getting into the realm of political grifting. Just read a few articles and tweets, draw conclusions based on having skimmed what may or may not be reliable information, and just talk with confidence as though like what you're actually talking about. Speak with your chest, draw from the diaphragm, speak confidently, and just blow hot air into the universe, and then collect paychecks based on that. That's where we're at now with what's going on in the world. What do you say? Oh, you watched something I did with Sarah. Oh yeah, that's a friend of mine. Her name is Sarah Summerlin. She does a sporadic podcast every now and then that she puts on her YouTube channel. We record stuff every now and then. I haven't talked to her in a little while though, so I don't know what she's up to. But yeah, those were fun. She's cute. What did you say? I'm just hoping we can avoid World War III. It would be inconvenient. I agree. That would be inconvenient. That would really that would not pass the vibe check. World War III would really ruin the vibes for everybody. I think. It is fun though. It is like times of war are fun, and it's like to forgive me for referencing this again, but it is sort of like I'm using my Kwisatz Haderach powers to look ahead at all of this, and it's like, we're in the thick of it right now. People are dying. It's scary. There's a lot of instability, with all of this. But if you look ahead, there's gonna be incredible movies made about this. There's gonna be books written, TV, and we'll get to feel like this great sense of patriotism and industry again, as we need more people in the workforce to build fighter jets for Northrop Grumman and Lockheed Martin. Um, so these are exciting times. We might get a new. No, he's dying. But I was going to say we might get a new Toby Keith album, but he's dying, unfortunately. He has some kind of cancer right now or something, Toby Keith. So I guess the burden of recording the next great wartime propaganda country album. I mean, honestly, give it to Oliver Anthony. He proved himself with that Richmond North of Richmond song. Give him the 12-track record on propagandizing the population that it's actually good to go to the Middle East and uh you know I just fucking rain fire on those people. Um because that was my experience post 9/11 was the Toby Keith album. Shocking Y'all came out, and like I didn't know anything at the time, but I remember listening to that album and being like, we gotta kill all of these motherfuckers for what they've done to this country. And yes, we need that again if this country is to survive. Uh, I know there's no girls that watch this. I said that at the beginning. Okay, I have literally zero female appeal on this show. There's no women. Okay, so I gotta fucking I guess I got to carve out my own corner of the manosphere and just appeal to the like disaffected male youth of the world, because it's clearly just being like genuine and honest and true doing a show that I've been doing doesn't get any fucking like women watching it. So I might as well just lean wholesale into just like dudes rock territory. Um, and then like once everything starts making money, that's when the women come, because women are stupid and that's all they fucking care about. So if they see dollar signs, all of a sudden they're interested in what's happening, when the reality is it's just a soulless, vapid, completely vacuous personality that grifted his way into a sizable paycheck. And now you're interested because you don't want to actually have to fucking do the work to do the grift. And as much hate as she gets, kudos to that ugly bitch, Pearl Davis, for actually doing the grift and getting that fucking money. I don't agree with anything she does or says. She's one of the most obnoxious people I've ever seen. But it worked out for her. That's all anyone cares about, anyways. Capital. Like if you start making money, that's respectable, apparently. Because that was some argument I just got, not an argument, but something somebody called me out on X, formerly Twitter, was like, I'm just now finding out about like this Kai Cenat guy, and I've like watched some of his stuff, and it's like truly like equal parts incomprehensible and terrifying to me, whatever he's doing. Because it's like, like broadcasting is one thing, like just sitting in front of a camera and talking or whatever is like a particular skill set, and it's like whether someone's grifting or actually being true to themselves and doing this from some sort of like altruistic place, but also trying to get money. That's one thing. That's like a skill set. Whatever the fuck he's doing, it like feels like I'm watching like I don't even know how to describe it. Like some sort of like CIA MK Ultra experiment, like a fucking Ludovico treatment from Clockwork Orange. Like I'm watching it and I'm like, it feels like something bad is happening, but I don't know why. Like that Elsa Gate shit that was going on. Like there's something so deeply unsettling about this that I can't like pinpoint. Like I can't pin it down. But like this is truly disturbing. Whatever this guy is doing. Um, and so somebody on Twitter X, formerly Twitter, was like praising Kai Cenat, and I was like, hey, counterpoint, this shit sucks. And and obviously it was like one of these like black excellence, like get that fucking money account. And there were like people, like somebody called me out. I was like, man, you just hating this is a young black man, and whether it's good or not, he's getting that fucking money. And like that is like such a like an interesting thing where it's like, oh, I guess if somebody just like gets money, then they're to be respected in some way. Even though what this guy is doing, I think like overall is causing like harm to any young person watching it. Like this is making people really fucking stupid if they're sitting there watching Kai Cenat make faces and just like hoot and holler as he. I don't even know if he's playing Call of Duty or just watching other people play it and react. I have no fucking clue what's going on. It's like the most baffling thing that's happened in entertainment. Like I understand like unboxing videos and like that whole realm of the internet. Like there's something about that makes sense to me. Like as in terms of like a sensory experience to watch some like somebody open a Kinder egg or whatever. But just watching a guy sit in front of his computer and like, forgive me for using what I'm about to say to describe Kai Cenat, but sit in front of a computer and make jungle noises, that's baffling to me. Like he's like truly not even doing anything. He's just being obnoxious. And I guess that's what people are into. Maybe I'm a dinosaur being left behind. Um, Let me see. What do Mars Volta album? I've not listened to the new Mars Volta album. I'm scared too. I don't know. Each one of their records after I would say Bedlam, it was like yeah, because like the first four albums, which is D. Lyles, Francis, Mute, Amputexture, Bedlam, and Goliath, they all kind of have like a similar like a through line sonically. And then they kind of take like make a drastic change to their sound with Octahedron, and that one was I didn't like it at first when I first heard that one, but it grew on me the more I listened to it. And the same with Nocturnicate, and so with the new record, I guess I'll listen to it at some point. And yeah, I mean, I respect them for toying with their sound and taking chances, taking some swings. I mean, I heard Omar said that it was like their their attempt at like a pop album or something, but I don't know what that means. So I'll check it out. Even if it sucks, it's like I still got the first two records, which are my favorite. Um, and I did watch some stuff of like live shows they've been doing, and it is nice to hear that like I guess Cedric got surgery or took some vocal lessons or did something to fix his voice a little bit because he was sounding like dog shit back when they were together like 10 years ago. Like he was really starting to like fuck up his voice. So he sounds better now. Um, what is it? Oh, the podcast I did with the two alt right dudes. You talking about the one I did the one I did yesterday, that ski mask show? Yeah, that was fun, interesting show. The yeah, it was a fun show. Like I enjoy going on podcasts. I guess it is just like interesting, like when guys like that, or like when I would do Gino's show, like they would people invite me on shows, and then I do find that like a lot of these shows, sometimes I'm just sitting there while like different guys scream over each other, And I'm just kind of like, well, I guess I'll promote something here in a minute. Like, I don't know. And yeah, yeah. I am smart and balanced. Some would say I'm fair and balanced. So I do try to have more nuanced opinions these days because um, I'm over the edgy, ironic thing, the bombastic edgelord shit. I'm so fucking over that. Um, I mean that's why like Sam Hyde's gonna get fucking left behind. Like he's still doing that. Like he try like edge lord type of stuff and trying to just be like over the top, like whatever he's doing. Like, I watched some stuff from him recently, and it's like people are done with this. This is like like this like hyper ironic, detached kind of thing was like, there was a place for it maybe like probably 7 years ago. Like I don't know, but um I think people are like returning to some sort of like desire or necessity for like actual sincerity, and then there's kind of a balancing act you got to do with that because you don't want to get too weepy, you don't want to get too sentimental, but you also don't want to lean over into the the sort of like Gino Bisconti territory where it's like there's like you're a talented guy, Gino. There's more in you than saying slurs and screaming about COVID for 4 years. Um. Wait. Kai Cenat incited a riot. What is going on? What is? I don't know what that means. Like, who is this guy? I don't know. I just found out about him in the world of streamers. He has enough influence. Like he has a big enough audience and enough influence that the people rioted in the streets of New York City because of this dude. Like I don't know. People need like really the thing that scares me is like uh riots happen all the time, but it's that like a fucking dipshit like that is someone people look up to enough that it starts a riot. Like that would make sense to me if like Beyonce was just walking through the streets of New York and then people got hysterical and rioted. It's like that adds up. That makes sense to me. But just some guy who plays PlayStation for 14 hours, it's like, why does anyone even know who that is? Like a guy with like no personality who just screams all day, like for 14 hours a day playing the new Spider-Man game. It's like why is that like like this like noticeable thing that people are willing to riot for it, and you're saying that there was property damage, and wait, I remember this. Yes, I didn't know any, like okay, yeah, he was giving away PlayStations. I thought he was a rapper at that time. I just heard a name that sounded vaguely Afrocentric, and I said, "Oh, that's one of these like SoundCloud rappers I've never heard of, and he's trying to give away PlayStations." And people, people rioting or something. And then within the last like 2 weeks, I found out it's so much worse than hip hop. Not that hip hop is bad, but you know what I mean. Like the sort of like sycophantic thing that happens with like rappers and stuff. People like glom onto I guess any musician, but it's so much worse than that because like with like rappers and musicians and stuff like that, there's like a discernible talent that can be observed, like just something that it eludes most of the population that these people are tapped into, that is like fascinating to like watch and listen to and absorb. But like with this motherfucker, I'm like, what is even the talent here? Like, what is this guy doing? He's not saying anything. He's not like orating or speaking or having like any real like conversation even. Like it's literally just like chilling, just hanging out in front of a computer and playing Spider-Man, and not even like connecting with it in any sort of like technical or artistic way. Just like holding his hand up and going shit, man, and then like I have no fucking clue what's like how is this guy popular enough to incite a riot to riot Cenat. I, I guess that's what people that's what people are into. I don't know. Maybe I should listen to those black guys on Twitter and get my money up so that I can you know so that so that I can do I don't know, because I'm just a hater right now because I have taste. That's the thing that drives me fucking crazy about this like money and success with these people is like, if you dare to have any sort of fucking taste or preference or like I don't even know, like, you know what I'm saying, like if you just have taste in things or like an appreciation for like art and effort and talent, and you dare speak ill of any of these fucking people, that like what they call you out on is like you're just a broke hater and this guy's getting his fucking money, and it's like, but that doesn't mean it's good. Like that doesn't mean what's happening on this screen is worth paying attention to. This is actually a bad thing. This is like worse than, like, for all those years that like all these fucking hack comedians and like news guys and all that were like bitching about the Kardashians. It's like those are at least interesting people. Like I'll attest that like the 20-minute bit that Joe Rogan does about Kim Kardashian or whatever is like, get the fuck out of here, dude, because like these are or maybe his bit might actually be good. I can't remember, but that was like a hack, that was like a cliche thing for a long time about this like family was like, what do they do? They're not even talented or whatever. And it's like, no, that's actually like an interesting family when you like trace back to like whatever you know, their dad and their origin story and all of that, and there is like a sort of like that kind of person has existed for a long time, like the socialite, like the glitz and glamour of that's like always been a thing people like want to experience and pay attention to, because these people actually do like, and I'm not saying that they're artists or anything, but there is like a spectacle to what they're doing. But with like this kind of shit, the fucking like, I guess what I'm doing now, which is live streaming, but is you know, the people who've tapped into like whatever this primal thing is, where what people want to tune into is just like fucking howling and screaming while you play Medal of Honor or Fortnite or whatever. That's where I'm like, I don't give a fuck that this dude's rich and gets more money and pussy than me. This is like objectively fucking terrible what is happening on my screen right now, and it's the same with all of Kai Cenat, Phantom, XQC, like all these guys. As much as I don't really like Destiny. Like I think he's a smarmy little fucking prick. He at least has something to say. Like he's at least like engaging on some like intellectual level. You know what I mean? But I always he comes across like a smug little fucking asshole, and I despise him for that. The way he the disrespect that he showed to that economist Richard Wolff in that interview they did. That was fucking driving me crazy watching that. I never understand that thing where it's like, even if you disagree with these people, like these interviews you see where it's like either Richard Wolff or Norman Finkelstein or Noam Chomsky, any of these sort of like giants in the realm of like thought and intellectual scholarly pursuits. I never understand when it's like some dipshit like 20 or 30-year-old who's bringing them on and just blatantly showing them like fucking outrageous disrespect in the interview. It's like, even if you disagree, like, on whatever the topic is, like, you disagree with this person, they deserve your respect. They fucking have their bona fides in whatever this field is. They've proven themselves. So just because you're some little fucking like acolyte of Ben Shapiro and you like disagree fundamentally with this person, they at least deserve you to try and meet them intellectually on in the arena, as they say. I fucking hate that stuff. I don't know why but also I don't know why they do it. Like, if I'm Noam Chomsky and I'm like 95 years old sitting in front of a webcam and some little dipshit is talking to me that way, it's like, let's turn the fucking computer off. Like, I don't know why they continue with the interview. And I guess I need to read more, though. I got to become an intellectual. I want to get in on that. I want to invite the great thought leaders on my show so I can do gotcha interviews to farm engagement on the internet. What did Alex say? In my humble opinion, IMHO, every single large podcast lost its appeal except maybe Kill Tony. I switched to small podcasts and enjoy them a lot. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, the big shows definitely lose something. Well, that was always the appeal of podcasting back in the day. Was it felt like it had this very forgive me for using the gayest expression of all time, punk rock feel to it. But yeah, it was like this bare bones sort of operation where people were doing like longer, more like expository conversations and interviews, and it felt like you were like, it had this like fly on the wall quality where you kind of get to it felt like you were there for some, I don't know, so just something really interesting was happening. And now the big podcast is Bert Kreischer being like, so I wanted to buy a Rolex, and then I decided I should buy 2 Rolexes. It's like, how is this? This is nothing entertaining about fucking flexing your bank account on anybody. And hey, don't disrespect money and advertisements. I need that. I need that to happen. Please, everybody, go tell people to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I cannot monetize this until it has 1,000 subs, and then I can do super chats and get ads and money. And what did Pat say? Adam Ray, Dr. Phil. I guess I need to watch I never watched this show. I don't watch Kill Tony. Like, when I was talking all that shit about Tony, it was like I was literally just trying to lean into like the wrestling thing of comedy. I do not pay attention to the show. It's a good idea. Like, it is like a cool thing for open micers and all that. I couldn't imagine doing it. Like, I don't really want to do stand up in front of like 4 arguably, anywhere from good to shitty, but all famous comedians, and have them pick apart a 1 minute set. I don't even like, that's crazy to me. Like, 1 minute of comedy. I don't know, but people like it. Hans Kim is so disappointing. Yeah, I mean, it was supposed to be ping ding. It was supposed to be ping pong, and ping pong ruined fumbled the bag, and so Tony had to scramble and find a new Asian, and Hans was the one willing to debase himself for that role. But it was supposed to be ping ding, and I mean, good for Hans. I mean, he was fucking homeless or something for a while. He'd be, I mean, he would be fucking dead if it wasn't for like the benevolence of people, successful people in comedy, like giving him somewhere to stay and helping him out. And who's this? Guinea Bob, whoever is talking. You said crazy watching him come up from nothing, get a girl and money and a coke habit, and then stop being funny. Well, I would counter that with he was never funny. He was never funny. I mean, I used to see him at open. That was the thing when he this was maybe like 2 years ago. He posted like a picture of him on a private jet going to open for Rogan, and I had like this. My entire body went cold. My nerves froze because I was like, what did I miss? Like, what the fuck happened? This was like one of the least funny people I've ever seen doing open mics, and now he's like flying to Vegas on a private jet to open at like a fucking arena for Joe Rogan. Like, what the fuck happened? But hey, look, that's the thing is if you're good at networking, if you're good at rubbing elbows and schmoozing, you can get anywhere. That's sale. You know, that's the power of sales. That's you know, what you got to do in any business, I guess, is network, build a web, and the people who, yeah, the people who don't do that, the people who try to stick to their guns and only associate with the ones they truly respect or whatever. I mean, yeah, I guess you just end up becoming Red Bar if you do that. Even though I think Red Bar might actually be a failed comedian, like. He figured his thing out, which is like, well, maybe I'm not actually good at stand up or entertaining people in that way, but what I am good at, and I want to make something clear, this is an art form. This is like a talent. What he's good at, hating. He's very good at fucking hating people in a way that I find very entertaining, and I fully support Red Bar. Just watching like a 2-minute clip from fucking Annie Letterman's podcast or whatever, and spending like maybe 3 hours breaking down a 2-minute clip. It's like it's a fun. I think in literature they call that a quotidian art form where you expound upon the minutia, the mundane, and so this, yeah, I like him, and maybe that's where I'm headed is just reactionary commentary, since I don't know what happened to me. I lost my damn mind. What else? Did I see Bert Kreischer's movie about his made up story? No, it didn't look good. It looks fucking terrible. And I'm not. Yeah, I've never been a fan of his. Like, I remember when that set went viral, like him actually telling the story at some comedy show. I was like watching it, and I was like, well, this is like even just the way he's telling it is like, this is poorly constructed. Like, this isn't like this isn't good. He's not even like good like telling the story well. And it also seemed like, as I was watching it, like it seemed like he was on the verge of fucking crying for the entire like 15-20 minutes. It was really bizarre. Like the way he performs, it was like really fucking weird to me. So I mean, good for him for really grinding it out and succeeding and having an extremely wealthy, influential father. That's the thing that drives me crazy. Is it would be nice if there were more, if like these people who like I think everybody tries to like downplay their origins, who maybe grew up more comfortably than because the romantic, the respectable story for everybody is like the Richard Pryor thing or whatever, where it's like grow up in a fucking barn / brothel, get molested, just grow up in like sheer fucking hell and agony, and then become like the greatest comedian of all time, or like become a successful entertainer. Like that's the trajectory, the romantic sort of trajectory everybody wants to be able to say they had. But the reality is, like, probably like most people that succeed in any business grew up pretty comfortably and were given those connections from like the jump, and we're able to transfer like whatever um affluence and money that their family already had. They were able to like parlay that into whatever success they have in their careers. And so like with somebody like Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura, any of these people, the one of all the like all these comedians who are like their whole thing is being honest and telling real stories from their lives, they always downplay just how wealthy their family might have been, like just how much that was like a factor in their success. And every now you catch snippets every now and then of what the truth might be, where it's like when Bert Kreischer is like, I fucking hate that I know this shit. Like I hate that I don't listen to podcasts anymore, but I did used to listen to a lot of these shows. And I just felt that thing happening where I was like, these people's lives were starting to I was becoming like too aware of the fucking like intimate details of strangers' lives, and it was making me like uncomfortable. So I stopped listening to all this shit. But I do remember like at one point he talked about how his dad was like a pretty prominent lawyer in Florida, and like at one point was on retainer for L. Ron Hubbard. And like that right there, like I hear that and I'm like, okay, now I can connect the dots now. Like he's downplaying like whatever that is, like that, the success of that. But it's like, no, if you're like if you're a lawyer who's like prominent enough that the entire fucking Church of Scientology is trying to hire you, then it's like I can imagine that's real fucking like generational wealth that's being accumulated. And the same with somebody like Segura, who I think his dad was like the VP of fucking like Merrill Lynch or something. Um, and not like me, who did get to grow up comfortably, but due to my own irresponsible nature and rampant drug use coupled with mental illness, I have completely squandered that which was gifted to me. The parable of the prodigal son. But Scripture teaches us forgiveness. Oh, maybe I should become a televangelist. Uh, did I watch Bill Burr's new movie? No, it looks bad. I didn't think it was going to be good when I heard about it, and then I saw some previews, and that looks bad. And then my favorite film critic on TikTok said it sucks. So maybe I'll check it out. But no, I've not seen it. Is it good? Like I don't know. Maybe it's actually good. I just don't know. Like, I saw Lewis tweet that he's like halfway through the Bill Burr's new movie. It's really funny, and I hope that works out for him. I hope Bill invites him on some tour or podcast for tweeting that. Oh, he gave himself a white wife in the movie. He whitewashed his own wife. That's awesome. All right, I'll watch it now. That's so funny that like because that is like one of the things he's known for is having like like a pretty like a nuanced point of view on things, or rather like he's willing to engage himself on his own like perspective and point of view, and like wrestle with himself on the way he thinks about the world. He's a pretty like really like intelligent guy emotionally, but like one of the things that's always like struck me about him is like he comes across, he's like this angry pasty fucking like Boston guy who is fucking down with the swirl, dude. And he always talks shit about white women. Then he gives himself a fucking white wife in the movie. It's just like I wonder what the conversation was like. Yeah, the audience will never believe that I'm married to a black lady. That's funny. That's cool. Um, yeah, I like what Louis did, where he gave himself a black wife in his show, and his kids were white. That was funny. Um, yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that's always like a weird thing. Like when people who do like stand up or what, like something outside of that industry, like film and TV and all that, and they try to like they get successful to the like where they have like access to more money, resources, people, and like all this networking and stuff, and then they try to um like make a venture into either like TV or filmmaking, and it's like that's such a different skill set, and um like usually doesn't go well. Like Louis took a crack at it. The first time he did was Pootie Tang, and that was like such a disaster that like that might like I think like at the time I think people thought that he was gonna like die because of how bad that was. But he bounced back, and then like it was interesting because his TV show was like truly like really fucking good and like a work of art almost. Like it was like it kind of like subverted anyone's expectations of what a fucking stand-up comedian was going to do making a TV show. But a lot of people that do stand-up who try to like make that venture into filmmaking or making TV, like they don't they have no fucking clue what they're doing. Like it's usually sucks shit. Um, because it's just like completely different skill sets. Uh, and so that's why I'm sure the machine sucks. and, I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe I'll give the Bill Burr movie a chance. I mean, and like I'm not speaking from a place of like I know what I'm doing. I just like it goes back to that thing where it's like all of us have taste. Like all of us can watch something and fucking have an opinion on it and can like discern what about it like makes it good or bad, you know. And people try to discredit. Now it's like people try to discredit your opinion on things or like what you might have perceived based on the fact that like, well, you don't know how to make a movie. And it's like, I mean, true, but I know how to like interpret a movie. Like I know how to fucking like watch one and have thoughts about it. Just because I don't know how to make one doesn't mean I'm not qualified to fucking talk about it. Like I have to like pay like complete revere this to the point where I'm not allowed to have a fucking opinion. Um and and I guess that's why I mean yeah, I mean I do there is a part of me that feels like, when people talk shit about Scorsese, I'm like, no, you actually are not allowed to do that. That's one where it's like you actually are only allowed to like his movies, and if you don't like them, then you're wrong and really stupid for having that opinion. Um, but it's also maybe it's just rage baiting when people try to say that like I haven't seen the new Scorsese movie, but people have been talking about that Killers of the Flower Moon, and it is like the I've seen some people post stuff where they like claim to not like it or think it's too long or boring or it's woke. And to me, I'm always like, this is just like farming for engagement. Like nobody who actually thinks like this. Like I don't know, like that's baffling to me that you would go watch a movie about like the fucking like genocide of an entire tribe in the pursuit of like capital, and walk away from it being like fucking woke movie right there. And it's like it's in the papers. It's like a like fucking historical event. Like I don't like, that doesn't even make any sense. That it's or maybe that is like the actual honestly that is like the actual definition of woke is like when like Marcus Garvey coined the term back in like the 20s. It like the definition of it was like to like awake to the like what your oppressors are doing. Like these people have been like fucking you up and degrading you and harming you, and and to be woke was to like have an awakening to the reality of like what's going on, and it's much more that idea is like much more in your face in John Carpenter's They Live. That's sort of like the like woke for dummies movie. Like if you don't understand like the nuance of like empire and race relations, and like what the civil rights leaders were trying to say, then you can watch They Live, which is an awesome movie. But that like that kind of distills it to like something that everybody can wrap their heads around, because it's like instead of like the like imperialistic structures and capitalism and the evil that resides within the hearts of all men is just aliens. Okay, can you wrap your heads around aliens, and and then dumb people will walk away from that being like, yo, it's fucked up that those aliens took over the earth. And then anybody who's read a book will understand that's like a metaphor for sort of like the endless pursuit of money and power that exists within humanity, that creates these systems by which these like class structures where people are oppressed and don't have any chance of having any upward mobility, because there's a system in place that like does not want them to do so, that's run by aliens, I guess. But anyway, so that's like that was like the original definition of woke. And so then like to use that term to describe a movie about like a historical movie about a group of like white capitalist oil like robber barons rolling up into this like tribal land and fucking killing these people. It is like, well, I mean, that is like kind of the like an accurate definition in that regard. Instead of like applying that term to a movie that just has like a trans character in it, you're now like using it for a movie about like the systematic extermination of a group of indigenous people for their oil. It's like, yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, I mean that is like the appropriate use of the term woke. So you fucking like, congratulations, you bastardized this word and completely contorted the definition of it for years, and then horseshoed back around to what it actually means. But you just don't understand that you're actually now finally using it correctly. The guys who are calling Killers of the Flower Moon woke. So Scorsese might have actually effectively saved intellectual discourse by tricking these dumb fucking reactionaries into using the word woke properly again. Because yeah, we were lost there for a while. The way people were using that word to just describe like everything. It was just like everything was woke, and I'm like, what does it even mean at this point? And I think now we're finally getting back to words having actual fucking meaning. Um, and I guess I need to see the movie. I just read somewhere that it was a cool story that lead actress was actually like, I think she said she was like trying to get it like going to learn how to code or get a job in finance, and then just got an email from Martin Scorsese, who was like, "Hey, do you want to be in a movie?" And now I guess now it's looking like she's probably going to win like an Oscar for this role. Um, and let's see what's going on in the chat. Pat said, "I think Sam Hyde is more relevant than Bill Burr now. Ha ha, fish tank ruled." That's crazy. It's an insane thing to say. Sam Hyde is never going to be relevant. Like Sam Hyde is too committed to trolling and irony and like doing like weird social experiments, and I don't know what his deal is. Like I always thought he was a funny guy, but he also has this like very like sinister nature to him, and it's like I look at what he's doing and I'm like, bro, you're like almost 40. why are you still acting? Why are you still acting like this? This is not like I don't like this. That's why I didn't I didn't get along with Joe really that well because Joe was like that where I'm like what is going on? Why are you acting like a middle schooler in the lunchroom? Like everything like you're just constantly trolling. It's fun for a little bit, but it's like this just feels mean. It hurts my feelings to be spoken to this way, and I don't know what's real now. You're making me question reality, but by with your behavior. Um, and yeah, Sam Hyde could have been relevant if he hadn't donated like $5,000 to like a neo-Nazi website. It's like um I don't know what he thought was going to happen. It's like you finally get a fucking TV show on a pretty respectable network at the same time that their golden child Tim Heidecker is still on the air, and it's like, and you're like so committed to either you're trolling or his like actual political beliefs that he like openly donates 5 grand to the fucking Daily Stormer. Like, I don't know what I mean. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, people are so like, especially at that time, it was like people were so set off by everything because of the Trump campaign that I mean, people were losing their asses just from like tweets. That was like the beginning of the culture war. So it's like if you go so far as to actually fund like a hate group, yeah, it's like yeah, they're gonna fucking blacklist you, dude. It's like I'm not saying keep your head completely down if you believe in things, even though I mean I don't know what you believe in might be bad, but also like be grateful for the fact you have a TV show, like try and be on your P's and Q's there. Um, yeah, I mean, but he's back now. I guess he's in good with Lewis, and he's doing that weird fish tank show, which I didn't really care for. It just felt like exploitative. It is like things even. I mean, that's the thing. That's the thing with like the shows like that or like what people do. It is exploitative. Just I mean, just because you're like giving someone like a big sum of money at the end of it, it's like well like you're only like you're doing that is like like to have any sort of justification for the like exploiting these people. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of this, whatever this like weird experiment is, where we're gonna like showcase people with like what look like actual disabilities. It's like, well, here's 30 grand, so that like will effectively make you happy and shield me from any criticism because it's like I don't know. It's like I'm actually paying you. I mean, it's the same. It's like the moral dilemma with Mr. Beast, where it's like, hi, I'm Mr. Beast, and I've recreated the reverse bear trap from Saul, and if and I found a guy who, if he can get out of the reverse bear trap in under 1 minute, then I'll give him $500,000. And they have a guy like stripped down and covered in oil. We're in the bear trap, and it's like even if it's not a real saw trap, like he's not in any real danger. It's like you're exploiting someone under like with the promise that you could help them with their bills, which effectively like shields you from any criticism. Like that's always Mr. Beast's thing, right? Is like when anyone criticizes him for what he does, he's like, but I'm giving people money. So like, and so right there is like now he's absolved of any sort of like moral questioning or like ethical practice with what he's doing, because you can like degrade people and exploit them for your YouTube channel as long as at the end of it they get at least $100,000, because they need the money. And so I like it's a tricky thing, because it's like, yeah, I mean, I would do a Mr. Beast challenge, I guess, if it meant I get 100 grand, but I'd also feel like uncomfortable with the fact that now I'm like being seen by 800 million people, essentially do like begging for money from this like weird potentially like CIA operative or whatever his deal. I've tried to like research that guy, Mr. Beast. I've tried to like figure out like what the fuck is going on with this dude. Like who are his parents? And there's like no information about him. And I'm convinced he's probably like connected to some sort of like shadow organization or like a like he might be like a CIA operative or a Mossad agent or something because he does like he doesn't make it like nothing he does makes any sense. Like his entire fucking career and like personality and all of it just leads me to believe that he's part of some like wide globalist MK Ultra experiment. Maybe I don't know. Everything's a psyop. Everything is a conspiracy. the flat Earth, the Antarctica, the hollow moon. Uh, yeah, conspiracies are a fun way for really stupid people to feel smart. My favorites are the ones where those like etymological breakdowns that people do with it, like I don't know how to describe this because like I don't have a good example, but like where someone will like take a word or a phrase or something and like deconstruct it to what it like what's actually being said. Uh, this what I'm saying. I'll have to like look for an example of this to like describe what I'm talking about. But it like the I get like it's the same idea as like somebody going like, "Whoa, man," because God said, "Whoa, man," like that sort of thing. There's like entire like videos of like some guy on a podcast taking like different words or like paragraphs out of the Bible or something and deconstructing them in that way, as though that's what etymology is and he's completely talking out of his ass. This is not based in any like real fucking like like because that's not how language works. I don't know what I'm saying. Like you'll just take my word for it. It's a good one. Cryptozoology says Urjo. Yeah, cryptids are fun. Jersey Devil, Skinwalkers. Skinwalker might be my favorite because it's like an actual thing that like native. Let's just call them Indians. Folks. New rule. They're Indians. It's like every time I try to talk about Indians or Native Americans, indigenous peoples, First Nation, I got to go through this Rolodex in my head of like what the fuck do I even call these people now? And it's like they're Indians. But that's like a thing like tribal in like people actually believe is the skinwalker shit. And there's so many videos on like TikTok and YouTube of like some Navajo guy uh warning people of like if you're sitting on the couch with your wife and then you get a knock at the door and you open the door and it looks like your wife, don't let her in. And it's like, brother, if I didn't even know about skinwalkers, if a woman came to my door who looked like my wife who I'm already in the room with, I'm gonna have a bit of a fucking problem. And I'm not letting her in, but I'm also like, there's gonna need we gotta investigate what the fuck is going on here. Um, yeah, there's like so many videos like that of like these like Navajo or Osage people or whatever tribe being like, you beware the skinwalker. If a dog is scratching at your door, but your dog is already in the house, don't let the dog in because that's a skinwalker right there. And then they like some of them get upset that white people even know about it. Like, who told the white man about the skinwalker? And it's like the show Supernatural with Sam and Dean Winchester. Okay, that's where we found out about it. Was 15 seasons on the WB and then the CW. Uh, what is the Lore Lodge? Oh, a deep dive on Wendigos and Wishugays. I don't know what a weechuge. I don't know what that is, but I'll check that out. Yeah, spooky monsters and animals are fun. Um, I like SC. I like SCP. I've talked a lot about SCP in the past, but that's where I go for spooky creatures and ghosts and stuff like that. Just reading through different like technical files on spooky animals. Um, who would I like to fight at Skankfest? Well, I've talked before about how I don't particularly care for combat sports, but if I had to fight anybody, um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, probably Gorman. Like that would be the best way to reunite the show is to fist bare knuckle fight Joe Gorman at Skankfest. Yeah, Carnival of Combat. It. Let me make something very clear right now. Combat sports, mixed martial arts, jujitsu, all of it, very gay. The gayest thing anyone can do is be a grown man in your 30s and start taking jujitsu classes. Very fucking gay. I've never enjoyed combat sports. I've never given a shit about MMA, UFC, jujitsu, any of that. It was always like the most boring fucking drivel that I like in terms of like sporting events I've ever watched. I like there was nothing about it that was like fun for me to watching it. And then like all of a sudden uh everybody's into it. Like, especially in like comedy. It's like every fucking like comedian in their 40s is going to like a jujitsu gym to learn BJJ from some like Gracie cousin, however many Gracies there are. Uh, but yeah, I've never given a shit about combat sports. I mean, I'll watch like Rocky, like that's fun, but I'm not like you know when someone if someone invites me, someone's like, hey, I'm getting the pay per view. Do you want to come over? It's like, oh yeah, I want to hang out with my friends. But I have no like I don't give a fuck about this UFC event. Um, and would I feel differently if we had actual blood sports, arena matches to the death, gladiators and shit? No, I don't want to watch people actually kill each other. No, it's not. It's just not fun for me. It's like I prefer like I've never been like a big sports guy, but I just prefer like actual games, like actual like more like something with like more structure that's like feels like an actual game, like baseball or basketball, even like football, which also feels like a combination of a game with combat sports. But you know what I mean, like when I understand like with UFC and MMA and all that, there is like technical ability and like strategies or whatever that people got to utilize, but just like watching it, it just feels like chaos. Like I'm like watching it like this just feels like real sloppy. Like this just looks like two people are just beating the fuck out of each other. Whereas if I'm at a baseball stadium for a good old ball game, the American pastime is like there's like much more structure with that, but within that structure, there's like an actual game being played, and I don't know, I just find that more enjoyable, and it's also relaxing. I'm not fucking tense watching a fight. I'm enjoying a fucking ball game. I'm listening to the crack of the bat, the hum of the organ, the smell of peanuts and popcorn, hot dogs in the air, $12 can of Budweiser. Um, how close was I really to fight Harrington? That was no, I was never. No, I never. I was never. There was never an instance where we were going to fight. I don't. No, I don't think so. No, we just had. I mean, I think we had like a disagreement or some. I can't remember what happened, but no, we were never. I'm not like a physical guy. Like I have no interest in ever fighting anybody. Um, what did you say? DBZ never made you want to get jacked and fit and learn to handle your shit. No, no, I just I just enjoy. I just like sitting on the DBZ. Here's what Dragon Ball Z did is like if I'm watching the show and trying to figure out like which character I am, it's like oh wait, so you said there's a fat guy with a sword who doesn't do like who just eats all day. I'm him. I'm Yajirobe. I'm the that's who I am in the show. You think that's representation? Is you created a character for me? There's a fat guy with a sword who shows up like maybe once every 50 episodes, and also in the first season of Dragon Ball Z was the one who saved the day. Honestly, he cut Vegeta's tail off, and so you know that's me. I'm Yajirobe. I have a sword. I I'm not a fighter necessarily. Um, what's my strategy to dodge the draft in the imminent war? Well, I'm fat as shit. My feet suck. The cartilage in my right knee is deteriorating. I have a pretty extensive history of psychological issues. I don't think they would let me in the military. I think they would deem me unqualified for serving in the military. But I mean, I don't know if they lower their standards to the point where they want me in the war. I'm not going to try and dodge it. Like I'll, it might be the best thing that could happen for me is I could be like a John Candy in Stripes, just joining the military to get in shape. Just like, hey guys, I don't know if you can tell, I got a bit of a weight problem, so I thought I'd join the army. Which is Stripes might be the only like effective anti-war movie. Because nothing that happens in that movie makes war or being in the military look honorable. It like everybody in the movie is a complete fucking jackass, and the everything the entire conflict in the movie is caused by the actual like military itself. There's no war or anything to like go fight. It's just like everybody's just causing their own problems and then having to fix them. Um, so that might be the only good like effective and because every other what do they say about like war movies? Like they say like every war movie should be an anti-war movie, but there's this like paradoxical thing happens where like even something like Full Metal Jacket, some people will watch and it'll inspire them to like join the military, and so it's like with war movies that can happen. Would you say a lot of people join the military after seeing Stripes? Yeah, I could see that happening. Like people are stupid. Like people don't realize that. I think people see Bill Murray and Harold Ramis like making fun of what the military is, but then it inspires them to actually like go to war or whatever. But that's what because the one that baffles me is like I've seen where people talk about how Full Metal Jacket inspired them to join the military, and I'm like, how? There was nothing good happened in this movie. This is the most like bleak, stark representation of war to the point where like like basic training in this movie is more like almost like more harrowing than actually going to Vietnam. Like it's that the stuff from that movie that most people remember, the sequence that a lot of people reference in that movie is like the first half where they're in basic training. It's like before they even fucking get to Vietnam, they're in hell, and so then by the time that like they go to Vietnam, it almost feels like a load off. Like it feels like a fucking vacation at that point in that movie. Like thank God basic training is finally over so we can actually go to Vietnam. Uh, but it was also like but then nothing good happens after that. Like it's just like violence and degradation and suffering and it ends with like they kill like a teenager, or whoever that young, the young lady that was sniping them. Uh, and so people watch that movie and still got inspired. So, um, and what are you asking me? What is my weight at? I don't know. I don't step on the scale. Why would I want to know? Like I get the information I need from the mirror. It's like, oh, this looks bad. I don't need to like add insult to injury by actually weighing myself. It's just like, no, I can tell that this is a real fucking problem. But I've yo-yoed in my life, so I'll get back. I'll get back. I've yo-yoed with my weight and finances. But that's the thing when you're talented. You can always start printing money utilizing the skill, the gift that God gave you, which for me is completely just blowing hot air and talking out of my ass into a microphone. What's the best flavor of jerky at Buc-ee's? Um, there's like a garlic one they have that's really good. I forget what it's called, but it's like a garlic jerky. But I've never been a big fan of beef jerky. It's always been too expensive and it hurts to eat it, and it's very salty. Um, I'll eat it every now and then, but it's like I'd rather just eat like a hamburger, or you know what I mean. Like I'd rather just have like actual meat and not like cured like jerky, this tough jerky. Just give me a fucking burger or a steak. And yeah. And why is it $12 a pound, or however much it's really expensive. Um, but I've gone on record. I've said this, that Bucky's is overrated. Um, yes, good description of it. Beef flavored bark. You can be soft. What does this mean? You can be soft and not Michelin man. Okay, pal. I'm not the Michelin man. Because I don't own a car, and no, but I do review restaurants. uh, damn, that's the one man. That's the one thing I wish I could try at least once in my life is a Michelin star restaurant. Like every video I see of like what they're serving at a Michelin star restaurant is like, damn, dude, I want to experience that. I love food. I love fancy food. I want to go to a damn tasting dinner. Like from the menu, the movie, The Menu. I don't care. Fucking yeah, go ahead and kill me at the end of it. I don't care, dude. This was my last dream on this earth was to spend $1,300 on a dinner. Um, what does this mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Ted Bunyan, not Ted Bundy. Um, yeah, your cooking is Def Michelin 3. No, my cooking is like, what if we added a little shredded cheese to the box of Kraft mac and cheese? So we do a little bit of the powder and some shredded cheese to give it more texture and flavor. Uh, that's how I cook. We'll chop up some hot dogs into it too for protein. Um, I'll never not be white trash. I'll never not fucking crack open a can of Vienna sausages and then put one on a saltine with a little mustard and eat. They call that Appalachian caviar. Is putting a Vienna sausage on a cracker with mustard. Um, breadcrumbs on Kraft is fine. I agree, dude. A fucking like baked mac and cheese with the breadcrumbs on top. Come on, man. The one white trash food I really can't stand though, and I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but I got relatives who make this like every holiday season, is a what is called an enchilada casserole, and good lord, does that suck! What a fucking terrible dish. It's and it's also like just make enchiladas. It's like I don't. Why does it have to be a fucking big pan? You ruin two things. You made shitty enchiladas. And you made a shitty casserole by trying to like do whatever this is. Just make actual fucking Mexican food. I don't know why it's got to be a goddamn big ass like casserole dish of like whatever this bullshit is. Um and but that I mean that's how white trash people cook is like how can I make something in a giant fucking pan that everybody can scoop out? What's the most effective way to combine meat and cheese and all my ingredients to create like a slop that you can scoop out, you know, onto a Dixie plate, onto a fine china paper plate. Any plans of guesting on a gas show anytime soon? I don't know. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just trying to carve out a nice corner of the internet for myself and pay back some bills and I don't know, get my life back together. I'll see. We'll see what happens. Anything can happen these days. Uh, and what is this? Sardines with sauerkraut and avocado. That sounds good. I'll try that. Uh, um, mayonnaise and broccoli, mayo and chicken. That ain't bad either. Uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, well, I don't know if I agree with that sentiment necessarily. Like, uh, artist 80 here. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, you said fuck fancy restaurants. It's about quantity. If there's lots of food, it's good. Um, I mean, I do want like a decent sized plate of food, but I mean, I've been to plenty like Golden Corrals where it's like, there's definitely a lot of food here, but no, it's like I'm just gonna walk out full and completely unsatisfied with what just happened in this restaurant. Um, but yeah, I mean, I like fancy restaurants. Like I'll go. The move is like go to a Michelin star restaurant and spend like $1,400 on a meal. And then when you leave that, like you've had the experience. You've tasted all the fancy foods, the deconstructions, and whatever they do there, and then go to Burger King afterwards, so you can actually feel full. Um, Muad'Dib versus Leto 2. I've only read the first two books, so I gotta like get into all the Leto 2 stuff. Like I'm not like as well versed in it as other people are. It was just something I was like fixated on during my mental health crisis because um I think like any scholar or anyone who reads, I know I was reading the book and just noticed was like hung up on how apt what happens in that book is to like what goes on in real life on our planet currently in terms of like trade and industry and empire and all that. And so I was uh, yeah, I was just like hung up on what what was being said in that book as it pertains to our current existence, like how just yeah, you know what I'm trying to figure out how to actually word this, but just to wrap up all of this like political and economic and environmental discourse in this like story about like space gladiators and fucking psychedelics and psychic people, like well, all of it, like to wrap up like what's at the center of that book is like the sort of horrors that come with the endless pursuit of like power and capital and like what empire is. Um, that even though, because a lot of people's criticism of the story of like what's going on in Dune is that, and I think it's people who just see the movie who go see it and they're like, wait, so it's like tens of thousands of years in the future, and they're flying through space, but everybody's still like fighting with like swords and doing like close quarters combat, and they have like all this religion still, and it's like they get hung up on like how it's like in the future but seemingly like regressive in that regard. And it's like, well, that's the fucking point. Like that's what's happening to us now. It is like we have like the opportunity to live in sort of like a like technocratic utopia, like Star Trek, the Next Generation, um, and but it's headed more into Dune territory, where it's like with all of these technological advances and innovation and like the expansion of like what humans are capable of, we're just like continuing to exist in these like hyper capitalistic feudal systems that keep the poor poor and like let the rich get richer and more powerful. And whereas like if we were to utilize these same resources to create like social service programs for everybody and make life easier and more peaceful for everyone on Earth, then we can be Star Trek. Then we can get in the fucking spaceship and go hang out in the universe with everybody. Because that's the fucking prime directive, baby. That's why nobody visits us, because we're still fucking squabbling with each other over like land disputes in like religious texts. So none of the alien, that's why no one wants to visit us, and that's why the Federation is not allowed to visit more primitive planets for that same reason, because they haven't got their shit together yet. So it would be like detrimental to them and the Federation to try and like bring them on board with this the technocratic utopia that exists. Um, and yes, I am Duncan, Idaho. I'm Jason Momoa. Great casting, by the way. Fucking incredible, dude. It's because it is like that. Duncan, Idaho is like the most glaring just name in that book. It's like out of all these like space names that are happening, space stuff. It's like there's also a guy named Duncan, Idaho, and then in the movie, played by like a fucking like Pacific Islander. Um, and yeah, the Federation, I guess, is still the military, but it's more of like a peacekeeping. It's more like focused on exploration rather than like defense. Um, and yeah, they drug test, but it's also like the subtext of Star Trek, like the world that exists outside of the Federation and what they're doing, is one in which like there's like peace on Earth, essentially, and like all the planets within the Federation. It's all like in the interest of keeping peace and exploring the rest of the universe. So it's the the ideals of socialism manifest in Star Trek, where like nobody has to like really suffer or fight with each other, and everything that humanity is doing is to push humanity forward. There's no like pursuit. There's no like the like pursuing capital or trying to like get land or property or anything. It's like we've completely moved past that, and everybody acts in the interest of humanity or just life itself. Honestly, like beyond even humanity, just all life in the universe. Um, but like who knows? Everybody, there's been so much like conditioning in this country and in the world to um like just the idea of socialism is so vilified. That who knows if we'll ever pull that off, because like the thing people always say about socialism, right, is like, well, look at these other countries that have tried socialism, has that ever worked? And it's like, well, what they're enacting is not necessarily socialism. It's just like a violent revolution in which just like another power hungry megalomaniac takes over under the guise of like what they're calling socialism. And but like social, yes, I get, I yeah. Given my argument, socialism is for dorks because I'm talking about Star Trek. Um, because like the real ideal of socialism is to like realize what humanity's actual fucking potential is. So rather than like this individualistic pursuit of things and stuff and property and money, it's more like what are we as a species actually fucking capable of? And if we could actually like get our shit together and take care of one another, then we can go out and do Star Trek stuff. But when it's like the actual like space exploration itself has been fucking privatized and is now, you know, in the interest of like, you know, what if 50 Cent wanted to see Mars? It's like, well, no, that's not like, we should not be doing that. That's like not what this is like. That's not where we should be headed. Is like Matthew McConaughey wants to go to the moon. Uh, this is completely the fucking wrong direction with all of it. But because of like the systems that we engage with and have accepted as like what the way things are supposed to be, yeah, space exploration is going to be conducted by the dumbest fucking celebrities and like private corporations, um, rather than the actual fucking government, like NASA, like the actual government program, because that's a socialist program. You're telling me my tax dollars are funding NASA? That's socialism, and I don't agree with that. I'd rather buy a fucking Tesla so that Elon can build a rocket and fly Joe Rogan to Mars. America does own the moon. That is true. Actually, we put our flag in the moon, and we do own the moon. Somebody, I think I read somewhere a while back that like there were talks of like actually owning somebody owning the moon. Like, what if there was like moon real estate? I mean, I just I that doesn't make any sense to me. Like honestly, like if we got to a point where there was like actual space exploration, like if the entirety of the cosmos was open to us, it doesn't make sense to me that like at that point there's still like these like capitalist structures in place at that point, because it's like why would why you know what I mean, like we finally like figured out like the true might of human potential, but there's I I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense. Um I just like the idea that if you want to if you want to work for the Federation, you can, and it's an honorable thing to do. And if you want to chill out on Earth and you know, ask the replicator to make you a fish fillet and have sex with your wife and just chill out, that's also acceptable. Read books, an age of antiquity and Renaissance, um, and yeah. Why is that always a thing? JS says in the chat, the plot of Starfield is pretty great. We destroy the atmosphere of Earth to go into space. It's always this doom and gloom shit where it's like it's either we have to escape Earth, you know, the like what necessitates space travel is not human curiosity and ingenuity. It's that the planet's dying, so we have to escape. Or if what I'm reading, if I'm interpreting this correctly, is the act of actually going to space is what destroys the Earth's atmosphere. Um, but it's always like they love that. Everybody loves this idea for whatever reason of like the reason that humanity finally makes it to the stars is really due to like the necessity for survival. The planet, we fucking killed the planet, and now it's time to go to space. And why can't it just be that we wanted to go to space, so we went to space because that's a cool thing to do, which is Star Trek. But there's like, yeah, there's so many stories about like the planet died, so now we're all lost among the stars because we were too greedy with the resources of the planet Earth. Yeah, I wish I knew more about space in astronomy. I feel like Neil deGrasse Tyson's ruining it for everybody because he's such a dork. I know he's trying to get people interested in science, but he's clearly like such an egomaniac that loves listening to himself talk and would rather be like a performer, that he's making like science like nerdy again and inaccessible because he's such a fucking dork. It's like Bill Nye knew what he was. Bill Nye got every kid interested in science, and Carl Sagan and all that. But then these fucking dorks come along like Neil deGrasse Tyson or Hank Green, and it's like, yo, fuck science, dude. I'm trying to fucking stream Call of Duty with Kai Cenat. Fuck your fucking equations. Calculus is gay. Space is gay. Planets are gay. Yes, Neil deGrasse Tyson chicken. I have such command of the English language. Most people must sound stupid to you, right? Don't be modest. Yeah, I've always been an asshole about that, I guess. It's like I've lived my life very stupidly and irresponsibly, but I have always had like an understanding of language, I suppose. And I have found a lot of conversations to be very like grating and like torture almost, because like there are people who I'm like, and I wouldn't even consider myself like necessarily like smart, but I'm like decent. I'm like well read enough and have studied language enough that I can construct good ass sentences. Yeah, I mean there are moments when I'm talking to someone, and a lot of those people are in my own family where I'm like, fuck, dude, this is fucking torture. Just yap 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 and saying nothing, and completely fucking airheaded bullshit. Um, and so yeah, I'm very smart. We need a big titty space spokeslady to bring us into the future. Yeah, we have I think we have those. I think there's like lady scientists with big titties. Who's that one from back in the day? I used to follow her. I think her name was Cara Santa Maria. She was like one of the cool punk scientists. She had like piercings and was like, I have a pussy and I'm here to tell you about physics, or electricity is crazy, right? Electrons, look at my tits. Uh, no, scientists, like honestly, scientists should be like Indian guys, in lab coats trying to tell you about curves, calculus and electrons. And English is your third language? It's my one and only baby. USA, you know what I mean? I took 4 semesters of Spanish in college. I don't know Spanish, bitch. I just know I'm not bilingual. I cheated on every exam. I didn't learn a goddamn thing. And I tried to learn Korean on Duolingo, but that didn't work. And especially since I think I've seen some Duolingo conspiracies on the internet that it's not designed to actually teach you a language. It's actually designed with the same like mechanism as social media, that like the slot machine feeling, whereas it's designed to give you that like dopamine drip, so you keep paying for it to presumably like learn another language, but it just keeps stringing you along with like bullshit little games and stuff where you're not actually like learning the actual language or how to have a conversation. Because if you did learn Korean, you could learn it and then delete the app, but they need you to keep logging in. So I didn't learn Korean. What do they say? Like the only real way to learn another language is like full immersion. Like you just have to go to where, like, if you want to speak Chinese, you just have to go to China and defect and get a Huawei phone and live in a little Chinese village. Which looks fun, to be honest with you. Like, that's my favorite guy on TikTok is that black guy Bobo, he's like an expat, and he's like a big black guy who lives in some like village in northern China, and he does day in the life videos on TikTok where he's like, "Xing chang, xing chang chang," and the subtitle is like, "Time to go to the market to get groceries." And then it's just him going shopping at like a Chinese like market, getting a goose and herbs and spices, and then going back home and cooking up a delicious Chinese dinner and inviting his neighbor over for Chinese dinner. And it's like, man, if that's what life in China is like, let them fucking come over here and turn us into that, because that looks awesome. I want to do that. I want to walk to the fucking goose market and get a goose. Yeah, I tried doing that in Chinatown, but Chinatown is just honestly like a fucking nightmare. It just smells like shit and everything's in Chinese. A succulent Chinese meal. Yeah, the great one of the top 10 viral videos of all time. The goat. Are you touching my penis? That guy rocks. Does anybody want to? You guys want to get who's in here? We got like 20 people. 20. It's your boy White Cenat. It's me, White Cenat. I'm giving away a ColecoVision in Times Square. We're doing a ColecoVision giveaway. I hope it's not too much trouble like last time. Yeah, dude, that's the thing that sucks about China. Smells bad and everything's in Chinese. Yeah, that's the worst part. Besides that, it's nice, but man, it smells like shit and everything's in Chinese. Yes, thank you. This is fucking awesome. I do rule. Welcome to the stream. This one's for the girls, of which there are none that pay attention to what I do. I'm in the manosphere. I'm sort of like the black sheep of the manosphere, where it's like, well, I don't necessarily agree with anything Jordan B. Peterson or Andrew Tate or like any of those guys have to say, but I've also attracted an audience of 100% dudes. So I am in the manosphere, but I'm like the sore thumb, the outlier of the manosphere. The opposite of Matt Rife. Fat, ugly, broke, gets no pussy, but still attracts an audience somehow. Yeah. Don't go outside a major city. Someone may want to eat you. Succulent duck. Oh, if you're in China. Yeah, I mean, I would like to go. Yeah, you gotta clean your room, folks. You gotta clean your room and consider the lobster, or whatever he talks about. Good. I mean, good for him. He figured out his grift. Whereas like his origin story is like dubious to me. Like if anybody wants to explain like what happened with that guy, because like the way I remember it was like he was a professor at some college in Canada, and he caused a stink about pronouns and got fired. And so this was at the beginnings of the culture war, and all these kinds of guys were starting to pop up. And so he gets fired, and then like what Rogan had him on his show to talk about I, like Jungian hierarchical structures and cleaning a room and like, well, I don't know, like the hero's journey or whatever the fuck he talks about. But it's like the actual origins of him. I don't understand like what was his issue with the university? Was he just like doesn't like trans people, or he didn't want to do pronouns or something? Like, I mean, yeah, I mean, like if I mean, what gets me about that is like, why are you like if there are people who are asking you to like call them a certain thing or whatever, why I don't understand like why you would cause like publicly cause a fuss about that. It's also like there's just no skin off my nose. It's like what I mean, yeah, what I mean, whatever I got to do to stop you from I don't want to get yelled at. So I'll like whatever makes you happy. Just please don't yell at me. I don't like getting yelled at. It hurts. It gives me anxiety. Um. Oh, there was a law mandating using pronouns. Um. I get. I mean, yeah. It's just hard to. Here's the thing. It's hard to not think that he like yeah he's just grifting. Like it's like the best thing that could have happened for him in his entire life was getting fired from that job. Because now it's like he's a victim of the culture war. He was canceled or whatever, and so he's essentially become a martyr for the this big whatever percentage of the population that's drawn to that kind of guy. Whereas it's like, look, they're coming for us, and now he's extolling like the virtues of what it means to be a man or like be a responsible adult or whatever. But he doesn't necessarily have anything like revolutionary or new to say. It's just like it's a very like just tedious bullshit. Um and 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 yeah, he is grifting super hard now. I mean, honestly, like like you're saying he lost what made him special. I think he's more special than ever now because he's clearly losing his fucking mind. Like he's strung out on something. Like whether it's like maybe he's back on the benzos, or he had a salad and fucked up his all meat diet. He is fucked up right now. And that's what now he's interesting. That he's completely spiraling into madness. And to the point where like his own daughter is responding to his tweets and being like, "What the fuck, Dad? Like do you hate me too?" Like she's calling him out. So this is fun. It is fun to watch. Um, and Carl Jung lost his mind too. Freud and Jung were on coke and nicotine. I'm a modern therapist. Adderall and Zen. Oh yeah, yes. I accept the modernity of contemporary existence. I also love Adderall and Zen. Well, I don't really like Adderall, but I'll have like a Monster Energy drink and a Zen to start the day. I just uploaded I'm trying to figure out like how to do it, but I've been doing another like solo show on the Patreon, and I'm trying to do like more like information based like research type stuff, and so far it's just me reading articles out loud, which I don't know if I can actually charge people for that. Like who would like I don't know if anybody wants to pay for go to the Patreon to listen to me read articles I found on the internet. But I just uploaded one where I'm just like I went did a bunch of research on Zen nicotine pouches and all that whole industry. and that was fun, and to read up on that and how kind of big tobacco is like subverting the demonization of tobacco itself. Like now that that's sort of out of the not something that people are particularly drawn to anymore, cigarettes and all that. They got to find new ways to get children interested in their products, which would be nicotine pouches and what I have here, disposable vapes. Stick to the comedy, Dalton. Well, I mean, what is comedy? I mean, this is what I'm doing right now. Could be considered a type of performance art. The comedy itself is the fact that I'm just doing it. It's a broad, is a big umbrella under which are many different types of performance and expression, of which my favorite that I'm doing right now, or something I'm very excited about, is the Caucasian critic, corn-fed white boy. I'm Go check that out on the YouTube channel. It's me discovering new music I like for the first time. Um, and That's fun. Kratom is more addictive than nicotine. Yep, I agree with that. uh, Intellectualism is an immature defense mechanism. Yeah, yes. I mean, yeah, because it's two different things. It's like there's like a difference between being like an intellectual and actually having like real life experience. So I think like the people who like that's Shapiro's whole thing is he was like a child prodigy and like has the gift of gab or whatever. Like he's a silver tongued devil who read a lot of books and was a fucking dork as a kid, and so he like positions himself as like an intellectual, uh, and that's how he owns the libs with facts and logic. But he's clearly like an immature little goblin who is like using his book smarts and learning that he's done to like absolve, like coat himself in Teflon against any sort of like criticism. Um, when the reality is he's a fucking dork and a bloodthirsty war hawk who is a Mossad asset. Uh, and What did you say? The anti-tobacco groups lumped Chew and Zen into their fight. The problem is no studies actually indicate they're bearing detrimental in the same degree, not even close. I agree with that. Like, yeah, I mean, in terms of harm reductions, like I would say Zen and vapes they probably are better in terms of like they're not like good for you necessarily, but it's got to be better than fucking like chew and cigarettes and all that. So and one of the conspiracies I actually believe in, um, is that those truth commercials and like all these like anti-tobacco campaigns are actually like psyops by the tobacco industry to make people actually want to use their products. Like some sort of like reverse psychology thing where it's like you watch a truth commercial and it's so obnoxious and it's like proselytizing, like an evangelical appeal to not use vapes, that you're like, fuck you nerds, I'm going to get a vape right now. I never even done it before and I want a vape. So that is one of the conspiracies I believe in, is that truth.com, like that whole organization is just like a shadow wing of big tobacco. And huh. Well, thank you. Artist 80. This is my boy Nico, I think. I want to thank you, Dalton, just by listening to you. My English has improved drastically. Words like impeccable. Love it. I guess I'm the modern day Muzzy, teaching people new languages. Remember Muzzy? Not the slur. The big monster who teaches different languages. Um, have I been playing any Leisure Suit Larry games lately? Nah, I don't play nothing, dude. I ain't be playing with nobody. Don't be playing with me, slime. Who is that goofy Jew face they turned into snow? That's that Brett lady. What's her name? Brett Cooper, the fucking like Shapiro double they found from like a parallel Earth. They found like the fucking you know like Sylvie in that show in Loki, but the Ben Shapiro version of that. It's like I don't know where this lady came from, but I mean she looks and sounds exactly like him. And like all these people, like what I found out is like all these fucking people are failed actors and screenwriters. So it's like the Ben Shapiro like production company. I think it's called like Bent Key or something. Or no, that's like their children's thing. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but they're funneling like all now that they have money, they're funneling it into these like movies and stuff, I guess, so they can finally do the thing that they wanted to do, which is make movies and act. And they're gonna make like fucking like Kevin Sorbo level dog shit by doing this. But it'll be fun to make fun of. Um and we are calling them goblins now. Thank you for catching that. Early lifers, goblins. You know what I mean? You're thinking of doing an open mic. You've been writing jokes for years. Would I recommend classes or just step into the fire? I would not recommend. Yeah, I would not recommend classes. Yeah, I mean, just go do it. The thing with like, yeah, I mean, with any public speaking is you get better at it with practice and just doing it. A lot of people are afraid of public speaking. They say it's their biggest fear, but I could think of like 20 other things I'm more afraid of than than talking in front of people. Anglerfish are scary. Um, the ocean in general, I would say, like the entire ocean is a much scarier concept than doing 3 minutes of stand up comedy. So yeah, I don't think any classes are kind of a scam. Like you just do it. Um, it's fine. It's not like this sacred art form. It's like even if you suck shit, who cares? Just do your jokes, and if you bomb, just leave immediately. Honestly, leave immediately no matter what. Be a phantom of your comedy scene, and then when you start killing, everybody will start wondering who is this mysterious devil that's so funny, and make them really have like mystique, and then and then after like 5 years of doing stand up, finally introduce yourself to everybody. That's that's the move. Um, and yeah, no, she's not. She may or may not be. Brett Cooper may or may not be Jewish, but she just got engaged, I think. And then like all the like Daily Wire simps or like I can't even wrap my head around like being this much of a fucking dork, but they were like quote tweeting it and being like, man, so many guys' days just got ruined with this announcement. Like the idea that there's people hot for Brett Cooper that were like fawning over this like dejected political grifter who's doing like calling for the genocide of Palestine in between ads for like a VPN service and beef jerky and like a skincare routine. Um, I agree with this. Fuck the ocean and the beach, pools all day. Well, completely agree with that sentiment. I would much rather hang out at a pool than the fucking ocean. Yeah, that's a much. Dude, the ocean is such a nightmare. It's fucking hot. You're gonna get sunburned. There's so much. There's so much in the ocean that just wants to kill you. Or just the indifference of the ocean. You'll die no matter what if you go too far into it, and it doesn't even want to kill you. There's nothing even actively wants to eat you. You know, if they come across your corpse, they will eat it. You're just out there alone in the void of the abyss. Yeah, I'd rather go to a pool. Uh, solo time at the pools. I think isn't that, yeah, that is her name, Brett Cooper, right? Or am I thinking of someone else? Hold on, let me look that up. Yes, Brett Cooper. What is her story? Let's see. Brett Cooper is an American conservative political commentator, media personality, and actress. Cooper hosts the YouTube channel The Comments Section with Brett Cooper, produced by the Daily Wire. Raised in Chattanooga, Tennessee, when she was 10, moved to LA. So here we go. Here's the origin story. Same as any of these people. She began to pursue a professional acting career. For almost 10 years, she had roles in theater, television, and film, including a role as an extra in the 2012 film Parental Guidance. Cooper graduated from UCLA with a major in English literature and minor in business from the University of California, Berkeley Haas School of Business. She's written for the Foundation for Economic Education and was an ambassador for PragerU and Turning Point USA. Yeah. So clearly, like, what happened is she failed at this like acting career, and is now doing like PragerU scams and like political grifting. She's trying to be like I guess like what Shapiro has been to millennials. She's trying to capture the Gen Z audience. Yeah. So yeah, she has. I guess she's more focused on like, yeah, the YouTube and TikTok, and Shapiro is transcended to active genocide. Um, yeah. She might be secret trans. Um, she's not unattractive, but her personality is dog shit. Like, she's just annoying and like filled with fucking hate and vitriol. And like, the thing that bugs me most about Shapiro and like all that Daily Wire shit is like, at his core, like the foundation of Ben Shapiro is he is an absolute fucking racist. Like, that dude is like filled with hate and vitriol toward anyone who's not, like, honestly, like, white and Jewish. That guy was like openly like racist and xenophobic. And so it's like he's built this entire like empire on that. And so, it's like all these like Brett Cooper also is, the same. They don't want people, like, they're getting, they're at the point now where they don't want people immigrating even legally. They don't want fucking anybody over here. Robbie's gay. Yes, Robbie is gay. Yeah, you gotta respect the hustle. That's what I'm doing now. This is this is a this is Chapo Trap home. We're turning this Chapo Trap house into a Chapo Trap home. uh, I do. I mean, those guys are kind of neat. Like, I get like, I've listened to them, and it is like, well, they did kind of like, I don't know if they're grifters or not, but they did kind of work their way into becoming the upper class that they once criticized, I suppose, or like, I don't know. But those are smart dudes who I think actually like do want to help people and are not acting just in their own self interest. And also, like, not everything is politics with them. Like, every now and then, like, they'll just review a movie, which is fun. Ben Shapiro's sister has big juicy honkers. Yep, Abby Shapiro. Which, if you Google Abby Shapiro, that's also the name of the girl from Hereditary. So you'll just get pictures of me, everybody, folks. And oh yeah, Robbie, you gotta check out the Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro's company. I think like bought the rights to Snow White, or I don't know, maybe it's in the public domain. I don't know what's going on, but they are they made their own Snow White movie starring Brett Cooper, the Ben Shapiro female doppelganger, who is like another. She's like Gen Z Shapiro, so she's like the one that he brought in to appeal to Gen Z as like a conservative, facts and logic. Facts don't care about your feelings. It's like the Gen Z facts and logic person. So she's like, facts don't care about your feelings. Ooh, ara ara. She doing TikToks and stuff. Um, and so yeah, they made this Snow White movie with her as Snow White, and it's like like Kevin Sorbo, Kirk Cameron level filmmaking is like the kind of movie that this looks like, and it's just out of spite. It's just more. It's like more reactionary bullshit where it's like Disney is making a fucking Snow White with a Colombian actress and six regular sized people and Peter Dinklage, and so Ben Shapiro is like, this is a disgrace. This is disrespectful to Snow White. So I'm gonna spend millions of dollars to own the libs and put Brett Cooper as the Snow White in this movie. Yeah, it looks fucking terrible. So I can't wait to watch it. And Robbie just said the same thing I said about like all these people. They just wanted a career in the entertainment industry and they suck shit at it, and so they had to pivot to facts and owning the libs, going to college campuses and talking to like 19-year-old like fucking who like whatever, like all those videos of Shapiro like owning the libs. It's just him talking to like some 19-year-old at college who like asks him a pretty like basic question and then he just like, I don't know. I guess if you're a fucking idiot, you could be swayed by Shapiro could easily pull the wool over your eyes, but not me, my friend. I'm not fooled that easily. Okay. Um and what else is it? Oh yeah. The Peter Dinklage thing is funny. He definitely like succeeded and pulled the step ladder up with him once he got to the level he's at. Because like, there's probably like plenty of dwarves and midgets and all that in Hollywood who are like, "Yo, I'm fine playing elves and fucking like goblins and shit like that." Like that's actually kind of my dream job is to just be like different elves and dwarves and have a big hammer in movies. And then Dinklage made it part of the fucking the ongoing like culture war where it's like this is exploitative of dwarves where we can do so much more or whatever, and like somehow convinced people that it's like wrong to cast a midget as a fucking elf. And so now the studios won't cast midgets as dwarves anymore. Even though that's how he like started his career and made a name for himself, was like being that guy, like being the fucking dwarf, like in the movie Elf, like when that whole scene where, yeah, I don't know. And yeah, he's obnoxious, and fuck him for doing that. He ruined the joy of midgets in film. We'll never get to see the black guy from Bad Santa and Me, Myself, and Irene again because of what Dinklage has done to the industry. Uh, and let me see what's going on in the chat. Robbie said, yeah, Robbie makes a good point. Shapiro gives dumb guys talking points. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's the same sort of thing as like like what Fox News always was, and now it's like now that Fox News has been sort of like consumed in what's the word, subsumed by the overall like what people perceive is like the agenda and bias of mainstream media. Like now now we're at a point where like even for those types of people, like even Fox News is not to be trusted. They've all migrated to like those sort of like extreme reactionaries online. So it's yeah, Ben Shapiro and like fucking like Tucker Carlson's show that he's doing now, where it's like I found a black guy who says that George Floyd was a filthy fentanyl addict who kicked a pregnant woman in the stomach and whatever. Um, and yeah, I mean we're going on what, like 3 years since that happened, and now like all of a sudden that's like popping up again, that it was like people don't even want to like believe their eyes anymore, that like we all saw the video, like regardless of like what actually killed that guy. Like what's in that video is a complete like a irresponsible excessive use of force by that police officer. So it's like that's the thing that gets me is like this splitting hairs bullshit that people are doing, where they're pulling up like fucking toxicology reports to try and like determine the amount of fentanyl that was in his system to somehow like vindicate Derek Chauvin. It's like, well, what's in the video itself is damning enough that like this is, there's no police officer that would sign up, like anyone who knows how to do that job and like isn't one of the few honorable police officers that would sign off on like what he does in that video. So like it's fucking crazy to me that this is like becoming a news story again, that they're still trying to like absolve Derek Chauvin of any wrongdoing when that was like a blatant fucking excessive use of force that was in that video. And so fuck Tucker Carlson. Does Dave do a character on LOS? He seems like a different person. Part of the problem. I mean, I don't know. It's like, Dave saw Ron Paul's speech 12 years ago and made that his whole thing, and it worked out. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like Dave is a family man. He's like honestly like a nice guy, and he has a really like beautiful family. And his politics are iffy. I don't necessarily agree with anything he says. But I don't know. I don't know what's a character anymore, what's real, because like we've all had the mirror turned on, like the camera's facing all of us now, and it's like, yeah, the really smart people in this world, like all of you, who like I'm looking at you now. No, I can't. Most of you, for your profiles, you don't have your face, not real names. You remain anonymous. That's smart. And like somebody like myself was too tempted by the camera, but like all of us now have been like influenced by media and television and the internet, and we all have like more than ever just like doing characters, and nothing's real anymore, to the point where it's like that viral video, that thing that was going around where it was like that black guy who's like going on a Target run. He's like spraying perfume on his wrist and like setting up tripods to show the world how he shops at Target. And it's like, that's what everybody's doing now. Everybody's doing content and playing a character. And even the people who aren't actively participating in it are part of that now. Like in those videos, there's always like a cashier, just like bystanders who are just now, hey, guess what, bitch? 8 million people just saw you on the internet because I needed to show the world how I shop at Target as a black man. How I steal baby formula. Okay. Dave went way too hard on you that time on LOS. Yeah, well, they're all sensitive little pussies. Everybody in comedy that succeeded starts taking themselves way too fucking seriously, and can't fathom the idea that someone they deem lower than them on the totem pole would criticize them in any way or try and bust their balls. If you're gonna roast anyone, you have to be on the same level or more successful. And how dare you, peasant, show me this disrespect? They all take themselves way too fucking goddamn seriously. And that's the issue. Like so many entertainers do. It's like what you do doesn't even exist. None of this is real. You fucking lucked out, or you found a way to like make a living doing something that's not real. You should be grateful. But no, they all want to be the most respected person in the room. And I don't anymore. I'll never have the respect of my peers, and that's fine. Fuck them. You're listening to Red Bar. And I don't dislike Dave. It's just I'm not in their orbit anymore. But like Dave's a nice guy. I'm not like, I learned my lesson. I'm never gonna speak ill of Dave's humor again. Dave is very funny. What do you guys want to get into? You want to I mean, dude, we've been going like 2.5 hours now. Oh, I wish there should be a way to like get people to like join in, at least their voices, so we could do like call-ins. But I don't know if that, like, can you do that through this? Yeah, I have no idea. That would be cool though if we could do like call-ins or talk to people like one-on-one, like with their voice. I don't know. I tried doing that on Twitter with that like Spaces thing. But I'm shadow banned. I'm fucking goddamn shadow banned on Twitter. X, forgive me, X. So like, the anything I do on there like doesn't really reach an audience, and so the only way I've been able to like find any real engagement is just trolling bigger accounts' posts, just going into the replies and calling people gay to. Maybe because that's the only thing I've done that's had any success lately on that platform was like just go into like bigger posts and troll those accounts. Which by the way is probably the best way to like farm engagement. If you like want to interact with those accounts like that, like this whole quote tweeting thing is just people like stroking their egos. Like going into someone's fucking thing and like quote tweeting it like you're doing that essentially to like, so now you can hijack what they posted and throw it up in front of your audience or whatever. When real fucking warriors move in silence, okay? I'm in the replies calling people gay and ratioing these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Your post got 4,000 likes. My reply just got 5,000. That's business. Okay, that's the art of the deal. And like that Twitter humor has always kind of eluded me anyway. Like the stuff that works on there, it's like I get it. I understand like why it's funny and why it works on that platform, but I've always struggled to come up with like a Twitter post, as good as like so I don't know, like some of the stuff, like drill tweets, like drill, I guess is like created that sort of format maybe, but like his style is always like it would be tough for me to try and do my version of this because this is so unique. But even drill might be losing it these days. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become cringe. Let's see. I guess we've been going 2.5. This is cool though. People have been hanging out here in the stream. It's your boy Kai Cenat. I mean, we've only got like 20 people in here, but these are humble beginnings for the next great the first billionaire podcaster. And I still need like 330 more YouTube subscribers so I can monetize my channel and get super chats. So I can do the whatever the fuck Kevin Brennan is doing now, going live every day and getting people to donate to whatever he's doing. And so that's what I'm just doing. Gonna do some like 14-hour streams, 15-hour streams. Yeah, you're listening to the Billionaire Podcast Network. Ka-ching, bing, 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 bing. Which is, by the way, is already a thing. It's black people. It's a black people podcast network, and I don't know what they talked about, but I guess I should have researched that before I started the Billionaire Podcast Network. So I'll do, maybe if they come at me, I'll do Price is Right rules, and I'll be the Billionaire in One podcast network, the Billionaire in $1 podcast network. And there you go. Can't get me there. Price is Right rules. I just got your ass with the $1. Yeah, yeah. The rule, like the rules of the internet, because like yeah, this JS just said he got banned on X. The rules of the internet is if you have a huge account, you can do literally whatever you want, and if you don't have like enough followers, they'll just like completely like fuck you over, um, and like shadow ban you or just outright ban you because you're not making the money. Um, and so that's the rules, especially since Elon bought it, which he might lose his ass. Like I don't understand like economics or like how any of this shit works, but I saw something that like that Cybertruck like fucked up Tesla, and like their earnings are like way down. And if that stock price, because he like put up the like Tesla and all those stocks, like he put those up as like collateral to buy Twitter, that like if the stock price for Tesla or something drops too low, then the bank can like seize his assets. Like they can just like take Twitter from him or something. So if anyone knows what's going on there, feel free to jump in and correct me. But that's what I heard, that Cybertruck like fucked him up, and might like ruin this whole like acquisition of Twitter and maybe his whole life. Um, so I don't know, and it does look like dog shit. And somebody made a good point that the way it's designed is extremely unsafe. Like the chassis of the like vehicle itself, and like the complete lack of crumple zones, which I didn't even think about looking at. I just thought, I was so hung up on how ugly it was, I didn't even like stop to consider the fact that like yeah, I mean if you get into any sort of collision in this thing, the fucking steering column is gonna go through your chest. Um. So yeah, I don't know. I guess he's fucked. And why is making a career in political commentary always called grifting? Well, it's not always grifting. It's like there are actual scholars out there, like whether you agree with them or not, like somebody like Noam Chomsky or Norman Finkelstein or Slavoj Žižek, or there's different kinds of guys in that realm who I would say are not grifters. Like they're actual like doing a lot of like hard work, and reading different texts, like and you could just in like I mean I don't know like how everybody else is, but like if I hear someone speak for a couple minutes, like I can kind of tell like how sincere they are and what they're doing, and it's like yeah, it's just this vibe thing. Like I don't know, like if I listen to if I like hearing somebody like Steven Crowder talk for a few minutes versus like somebody like Richard Wolff, it's like I can like immediately with those two guys, it's like yeah, Steven Crowder's full of shit, and Richard Wolff like is very knowledgeable, and is acting in the interest of like people and not just himself. Like I don't know, like it's I don't know how people can't like pick up on it. Like if you turn on like MSNBC and watch Rachel Maddow, how can you not tell that this bitch is like like fucking full of shit, and is acting in no other interest than for herself and like that corporation, like whatever like the agenda with that network is. Whereas like who is I guess maybe that's why I do kind of like Chapo, is like whether you like those guys or not. I mean, I know that they can be dorks. It's like listening to them, I could tell like I don't like these guys don't sound like they're full of shit. Like these guys actually do sound like like they know what's up. Whereas like somebody like who's another one? I don't even know who's on TV anymore. I don't know who are these people? Who are these um Bill Maher, it's like Bill Maher is another one where it's like I don't know how is anybody watching this shit? This guy's like not only full of shit, but like actively calling for like violence against like he's like very like he's always been like Islamophobic and he's like kind of like also like xenophobe. Like, he doesn't even like immigration really. I don't know, like he sucks. And he gets dunked on so much. He's gotten dunked on so much in his career. I don't understand how he still has like this smug, smarmy personality when there's like so much like video evidence of people just completely humiliating this dude on his show. But he maintains that he's the coolest guy in the room and with whatever he does. I'm just glad he's back on the air. I'm glad the strike is over and finally Bill Maher is back on the air. Who do I like? John Oliver. That dude seems like like he can be annoying at times, but like he's doing something that you don't see a lot of like journalists do, where especially on TV, I guess, where he does like these sort of like well researched and like long exposés on like a particular topic that may not even like be in the news necessarily. It's just something they decided to research. Like there was one I watched recently where it was like all about Subway, like what Subway actually is as a restaurant, and it was like really fascinating how he did this like exhaustive research into Subway and kind of like revealed like how fucked up that chain is, even without the Jared stuff. Just the way the actual business is run as a like franchise. It was really interesting. So he's kind of cool. Propaganda mouthpieces. Yeah, I don't know what that means anymore. I don't know what propaganda is anymore. I don't know, like, it's always like people are always acting in the interest of trying to get money and fuck bitches. So it's like I'll do propaganda. I've gone on record saying I want the teal bucks. I want the Peter Thiel money. Give me the teal bucks. So yeah, I mean, what is it? What is propaganda anymore? Don't ruin Subway for you. Yeah, I mean, Subway is one of those things. It's like you either like it or you don't. There's no way to if you grew up, on Subway. If you've eaten Subway a lot in your life and you do like it, no way to ruin it for you, brother. Nothing can happen that will steal the joy of a sweet onion chicken teriyaki from me, unless they got rid of that sandwich. I guess that would be how. The Joey Rose's sandwiches are very good. He's very good at making sandwiches. So yeah, those are good sandwiches. But I mean, Subway is such a simple pleasure. Go in and get a fucking Italian BMT with all the fixins and little salt, pepper, oregano, oil, vinegar. Very good. That was my first job. Was at a Subway. That was back when Jared was still there. Fogel. And that was fun. I miss those days. Not a care in the world. Smoking Black and Milds out back the Subway. Now I have to do the second chance life, the life second chance thing, whereas build yourself back up and then become a motivational figure in the media who like those guys who get out of prison and then somehow become like successful, I guess, like influencers or whatever you want to call them, where there's like, yeah, I did 17 years in prison, and they just talk about prison stories and make a career on like having gone to prison. Those guys are cool. The motivational ex convicts, where it's like, yeah, I robbed a bank and I shot my mom in the leg, and then I spent 18 years in prison, and now I'm here to tell you all about if is it true if you drop the soap that you get raped? Well, here's the funny thing about prison in real life, those kinds of guys. And then I guess that's what I'm doing now, just without the prison. Prison might be good for me. I've talked about this. Like if I could just do like 3 or 4 years in penitentiary, and like read a bunch of books and maybe take some classes, and like rediscover like God, join a religion, maybe join the Latin Kings, get some cool tattoos, while I'm in there. And then like get out of like that would straighten me out, to be honest with you. Is like 4 years in prison, and then get out, and I think I would finally have like the structure and discipline I need to succeed in life. But I'm scared of actually like committing a crime. Can you just go to prison? Like, can I go to a prison and just be like, hey, can I come in? Can I be a prisoner? That'd be cool. My asshole is already blown out. I've done horrific things to my butthole. Just don't pay taxes. All right, well then I guess I'm going to prison. There we go. Yeah, Ronan, have you've been there before where it's like, man, my life is fucking pretty rough right now. I wonder if I could just check myself into a prison and that might give me the reset that I need. Yeah. I need to read more. I haven't read in a while. I finally recently just got my brain back, and I guess I need to read some books, or or do the I guess what everybody's doing now is listen to a book. That's what people say now. It's like, I've been reading a really good book on the Industrial Revolution, and then they go, well, listening to it while I run on the treadmill. It's like, well, that's not reading. There's kind of like a difference in how you consume information and text versus like listening to it. And it's I'm not I'm not saying that you're not like getting anything from an audiobook, but you're certainly not processing the information the same as if you were to actually read a book. And there's also like a lot of cool literary devices you're gonna miss out on listening to it. Like like if a book happens to be structured in a way that's like innovative or interesting, you're gonna miss out on that just listening to it. You know, the way Cormac McCarthy writes is like visually interesting. Like the way he structures his like sentences in paragraphs and everything is like the way he comes out on the page is like visually of like cool to look at. Whereas if you were to just like listen to something like Blood Meridian, you would miss out on how he's like structuring his language in the book. But who wants to read anymore? Nobody reads. Does furious masturbation count as exercise? I suppose, yeah. I suppose. You want to be sure that you don't waste that nut, slurp it up when you're done. That's how I do semen retention is like, rather than just like not jerk off, what I do is I still jerk off, but then I just go ahead and drink the cum when I'm done, so I don't waste the seed. And that's how I do semen retention. So I maintain the energy within my seed, but I also get to bust. Yes, it's a cum still suit, like from Dune. Yeah, but I'm. There's only so much cum inside of me, and I have to repurpose it like a still suit. The brackish taste of cum from my balls. Is it? I'm sucking up through a tube in the still suit. Damn, guys, we've been going about. It's your boy White Cenat. This is only the second stream I've done. I'll figure this out as I go along. This is a new skill. Yeah. So everybody that's in here, you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, but spam other forums with promoting this show, since I'm shadow banned on Twitter, and let people know that this exists. Let's get the numbers up. Thank you for. I'm glad that people are supporting what I'm doing. It's fun, and it means a lot. And when is the last time I self-sucked? Never been able to do that. I wish I could. Yeah, I wish I could, but I don't have that. Not very limber. And I am shadow banned. People have been reaching out and sending me their search results when they try to look for me, and they can't find my account. So I am shadow banned. So go spam other forums, and then no, if you follow me, you can find me on, like, if you're already following me on the site, you can find me. But there's people that I'm shadow banned. I'm too close to the truth, and they're trying to cancel me. I'm Sonic banned. I'm Tails banned. Knuckles banned. Yeah, I like that. Goblin band, yeah. Yeah, the goblins, the early lifers, don't want me talking no more. Let's see, what else? Anyway, patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. And also subscribe to Robbie's Patreon, I guess. But he doesn't need the money as much as I do. Yeah, me and Robbie just recorded some stuff that's on the Patreon. Caucasian Critic, stay tuned for my song reactions. And keep supporting the show. Go spam the racist live chat. Spam the racist live chat over at Gas Digital. Send Joe Gorman death threats and dox him. No, don't do that. Actually, I'm joking. YouTube don't play around with doxing. YouTube don't fuck with that. So that's a joke. If they're gonna shut down Sniper Wolf, they'll definitely come after me. So don't do that. And don't support Sniper Wolf for sure. Whoever she is, I'm just now learning about these people. Sniper Wolf, Phantom, Kai Cenat, XQC, Destiny, Hassan Piker, Markiplier, Dr. Disrespect, all of them, all the greats, Ninja, and the only good one is Donkey. Like, to be honest with you, the only good one is Donkey, and he doesn't get any respect. Nobody pays attention to Donkey, and he's the only one that's worth watching in that world. Because he's like actually funny and has like an actual personality, and actually like takes the time to work on what he's doing. Like, he's not just like streaming and hollering into a microphone. He's like, presumably he's combing through like hours of footage to cut together these like 4 or 5 minute videos that he does. It's like a really unique thing that he's doing. So everybody check out Donkey. You know, the guy with 8 million YouTube subscribers. Everybody go support Donkey. But yeah, he is the GOAT. And but yeah. Really, you like Moist Critical? I like he's very monotonous to me. I guess he's good. I don't know. I guess I'll watch more of him. I don't know who Asmongold is. I don't know who the fuck these people are. I don't know what's going on. I don't. It just the like what I've learned, like having discovered this stuff and like pay attention to it now. Anybody trying to pursue a career in like traditional entertainment, like that medium, is a moron. Because like where the actual fucking money bag is like whatever these guys are doing. Like that's the real fucking path is like whatever's going on with like YouTube and Twitch and Kick and all that is like these guys are fucking making crazy money, and then like all these dipshit comedians are trying to do stand up and do their little podcast. They're like, all right, pal, well, maybe you should, you know, you need to be figuring out a way to scream while you play Call of Duty and overreact to things that are happening on screen. Like Kai Cenat. Yeah, I kind of turn into like anytime I've watched any of that, any of Kai Cenat stuff, I do turn a little Kumia there. I get a little bit Kumia watching Kai Cenat. You know what I mean? It's like he definitely exhibits qualities that I don't care for, if you know what I mean. Uh, well, Tyrannicon. I don't know who any of these fucking people are. I know who John Ratzenberger is. Ever heard of him? Cliff Clavin. Okay, I know who that is. I know who. I know who Ellen Burstyn is from The Exorcist. Okay, I know those, but I don't know who Tyrannicon is. Yeah, Master Fluffer. Yeah, obviously I know who PewDiePie is. He's what they call based because he got a trad wife and moved to Japan. Yeah, and I guess he said the N word one time. And it's like, you know, just one time, really. It's, I mean, pretty good record there because I've certainly said it more than once in my life. So I think I said it more than once this morning before I hopped on the stream. I had to get it out of my system before I came on here. I didn't want it to slip out, so I had to go like a Polka Dot Man in that Suicide Squad movie. I had to go empty out all the N words that were in me so that I don't blur, destroy everything here on the stream. David Dasmalchian is that actor's name. Yeah, he's good, and he's played like 3 different DC characters at this point. Like he was in like the Nolan Batman movies, and then he was Polka Dot Man, and then he was he played some character in that like Flash TV show. So he's awesome. He was in that movie Prisoners, which is very good with Gyllenhaal and Hugh Jackman. Yeah. Oh, speaking of dash cams, has anybody seen that? Have you guys seen that video of that guy driving through a parade that's been going around? That's one of the greatest things I've ever seen on the internet. like this fucking maniac, just like I guess because there's like some event in whatever town he's in, just like driving through a fucking parade, and the entire time he's convinced he's like doing the right thing, like he's like getting around all these like traffic blockades, and yeah, I can't even wrap my head around like what's going through the head of a guy like that. Like people were like scattering and screaming, and like a motorcycle cop is trying to pull you over, like all of it, and it's like what is possibly going through his head that he thinks this is going to work out? Like this is just he's going to like make it to where he needs to go and like face no repercussions for this like dangerous thing, like completely irresponsible thing he's doing. Fucking psycho. There was another guy a couple months ago who did that. Like he got like road rage or something and like pulled a fucking gun out of his glove compartment and like shot up his own dashboard like through his windshield. Uh Dude, people are fucking maniacs. And yeah. And what is I think the grifting thing could be a whole 2-hour pod in itself. It's pretty interesting. Yeah. Yeah, grifting is interesting. I said that I've said this before that like when it comes to sales and like all those like manipulation tactics that you learn reading like 48 Laws of Power and like Dale Carnegie and guys like that, it's like there's high level salesmen who sell like cars or like products or whatever, and those guys are good at what they do. But the real talent in sales, like the people who make real money, who are the most talented, like the true like sorcerers of sales and like what you learn in those books, are the people who are capable of like who are selling nothing. You know what I mean? Like the grifters, the guys who are like truly not selling you anything. There's no product, nothing's real. They have nothing to offer. It's like just raw charm and charisma to sell nothing and make more money than anybody. I mean, that's the takeaway from like Wolf of Wall Street. Like that whole scene with McConaughey where he's like telling him what stocks are, like how it's like this is it's not real. There's no product. We don't do anything. Like we don't make nothing. We don't even understand what the company is. The stock of which we're selling. We're just trying to get people to buy this shit. And it's like that's the real talent, is that sort of like, the kind of con man who can sell something that doesn't exist. And sell me this penis. Well, fuck your ass. Why don't you go ahead and fuck your ass for me? Oh, don't have a cock? All right, well, may I offer you a penis for purchase, my friend? Sell me this penis. I like that. So yeah. Yeah. I saw a porno where a woman with a penis put it in her own butt. That was cool. And they are women. I want to make something clear when it comes to the trans stuff, transgenderism. Is there is a like obvious distinction between a man's penis and a woman's penis. And for those of you small-minded hate mongers out there, that maybe that doesn't make any sense. Maybe you can't, wrap your head around the idea, even the idea of a woman having a penis. But I've seen a man's penis and I've seen a woman's penis, and they are two very different organs. And the only they do feel different in your mouth. No, they're very different. I would say like the major distinction is that like a man's penis is attached to a man, so it's like a dude. A man is like stocky and hairy and has like the musculature of a man. Whereas like a woman's penis is attached to a woman, a trans woman for sure, but um that person has spent a lot of time and effort to sculpt their body to change their physiognomy to be that of a female. So now they have the sort of like the like the Coke Zero body of a woman. You know what I mean? Like, is it as close as we're gonna get to woman? Uh, attached to that is a dick and balls. But the dick and balls on a woman's body is very different than the dick and balls on a man's body. Um, it's one of those things you're just gonna have to experience for yourselves to understand what I mean. But go suck a man's dick and then go suck a woman's dick and report back to me, and you'll know what I'm talking about. How come so many of these women's penises are huge? It's not fair. Well, that's porn for you, I suppose. Like the dicks in porn usually are, you want them to be big. You don't want to see a woman get fucked with a little small penis, well, average sized penis. You want one of them monster hogs slipping in there and mixing them guts up. Um, so that's why it's more visually appealing to see a monster cock than a tiny little, like what I have, a little caterpillar scrunching up, going into his cocoon. Um, and if they can't breed, they're not women. LOL. Well, I mean, no. What about a woman who got like a hysterectomy, or a fat bitch with PCOS, or a woman who's like bulimic and has rendered herself infertile? They're still women. Postmenopause, another good example. Yeah, they're still women. There's plenty of women who can't breed. There's plenty of women with trash pussy that don't work who are still women. And there's plenty of women with dicks and balls who are also women. But like, if you want to make the biological argument that people like to go to, like the XX versus XY chromosome thing, it's like, yeah, I mean, I understand that. Like biologically, there is like a difference, but spiritually, emotionally, libido, in terms of like being horny for somebody, uh, you know, I can look at a trans woman and be like, well, that's a woman, she just happens to have a dick and balls, but I'm still horny, you know. Um, and I can also, yes, you know what I mean, Danny. Thank you. But I can also look at a cis woman, as they're called, and I'm also horny. I'm just fucking horny, dude. I mean, shit, dude. It's like that. I mean, like that's the thing with porn is like even like straight porn, you're looking at a dude's dick going inside of a woman's mouth, and it's like, uh, you know, I'm still horny, and I'm looking at a man's penis. Have I laid with a trans? No, no, not really. I mean, you gotta get. I mean, let's get real. It's like with any potential like sexual or romantic partner. There's attractive and then there's ugly, and like with a lot of trans people, they're. I mean, they're not pulling it off. Some of them, like I've met trans people before, and I respect them. They are, whatever gender they say they are. I respect that, but also some of the trans women I've met do just still look like dudes. Which would it'd be the same as like if I was like not attracted to a cis woman, like an ugly bitch or a big fat bitch or a black woman. It's like not my thing. You know what I mean? Um, and so no, I'm not laid with a trans, but I've also never. I don't know. Like it's not something I necessarily want to do. To be honest with you, It's like it's not. It's like there's like a big difference between like what I'd be willing to watch in a porno versus what I'd be willing to do in real life. Because like in real life, it's like, I just want me like a nice corn-fed wife that I can have missionary sex with from time to time. Whereas like in porn, it's like, let's see how far this lady can get her arm up this other lady's ass, which is not something I'd ever want to be part of in real life. But it's, you know what I'm saying. It's something I would, the disconnect between the screen and my brain and like visually what I'm experiencing is much different than what I'd like to experience in real life. Yes, missionary sex, the way God intended us to have sex. Because if we were meant to fuck like dogs, then we'd be dogs. All right, get on your back and let me fuck you missionary style, bitch. Like humans are supposed to. It should be human style is what it should be called. And then, doggy style, that's for fucking animals who walk on all fours. Um and what did you say? Seeing inside an asshole turns my diamond boner into a soggy churro. Different strokes for different folks, Um I've certainly, watching porn, seen many variations on at buttholes and diameters. There, you know, the yeah. I've stared into the abyss, and the abyss has looked back and driven me mad. Um. Okay. Um. I think this is, folks, patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. Go to the racist live chat on Gas Digital and spam that promoting this show. Go to Reddit, promote the show. Tag all your favorite comedians and spam the show that way. Just spam the internet with promoting the show. And let's get the YouTube to 1,000 subscribers so I can monetize it, and then from there, even more subscribers. We're not stopping. The train keeps rolling. Choo choo. Bing bing bing. Billionaire podcast network. Bing 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 bing. Ka-ching. Bing 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 bing. Fill her up. Hashtag Tim Dillon. Yes. Let Tim Dillon know I'm coming for his fucking neck. I'm coming in his neck. He's sucking me off. Tim Dillon is sucking my penis. Yeah. But yeah, this is fun. Stay tuned. I'm going to be uploading more Caucasian critic videos, more podcasts. Look, I guess I need to record another solo show for this Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Lost in the Maze 9. Yeah, this is fun. We did a quick 3 hours on the stream, and we ain't playing around here. I'm not playing video games. You have my undivided attention when you come into these streams. I'm talking direct. I'm coming quick. I'm coming direct. I'm coming at you. We getting money. We having sex with our penises, because there's no women that watch this show. Certainly none with vaginas, none with penises. This is all dudes here with throbbing hard small penises, and that's what we're doing here. All right. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Read the Bible. Go to church. Go to the evening service. Be part of your community if you can. Leave a tithe, and then when I'm able to, we'll do leave a tithe here with the super chats. But for now, this is pro bono streaming. Okay. Thank you, and I'm clicking ending the stream.